Hello everyone and welcome to the Scraticus Academy. This is our last session for the day and I am so excited about it. We have the wonderful Travis here who is going to be our DM, but before that I am going to share some bits and bobs with you before I let him take over. Hop in our Discord, it's full of awesome people and we talk all TTRPG, D&D, we talk stuff and it's full of amazing people. Twitter, if you want to get in a game like this, just drop Scrat a message on Twitter. We're introducing the Cypher system next season as one of our viewer games as well. So get your name down quickly and we will see what we can do. Patreon, we are now full-time and appreciate all the support from you guys. And you can support us via Patreon or via our merch, which has some awesome stuff on Redbubble. We also have some amazing sponsors. One of them is Bird in the Storm, who creates some awesome modules, and we will be working even more closely with them over the next couple of seasons for some nice sort of secrets for you guys. And also Mage Hand Press, which is D&D 5e in space. An awesome game which you can see on Argo 37, one of our viewer games, every Thursday. We don't have any Wild Magic Surges for this game, but you can still donate Nat 1s and Nat 20s. We also have some goals. If we reach 50 viewers, we are giving away the Alpha Dark Matter material provided by Mage Hand Press, which was released on Thursday, and I love it. I use it, so. And we also have some more giveaways, including more Dark Matter stuff, and also the PDF of the Midnight Wield by Bird in the Storm. Other than that, I'm going to hand it over to the wonderful Travis. So Travis, take it away.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my Wraith of the Oblivion one-shot called Dead Baroque. The following game session is dedicated in loving memory of David Kenneth Bowles Jr., as well as Stanley Lieber, aka Stan the Man Lee, and to all of our fallen brothers and sisters and fellow humans who we are quite sure are no longer with us, unless they are somehow, which is a notion that these four brave players have so foolishly volunteered to surrender 2.5 plus hours of their precious lives to engage in the lunacy and sadness that is this nasty little piece of work called Wraith the Oblivion. Our prologue begins with a quote from the Firesign Theater: "Fighting's out of style. Fun is where the fear is." Let us begin by hearing from each one of our players. Who were you, and what were the circumstances surrounding your demise? Let's start with Marceline.
Hey everyone, my name's Lise. I'm D&D Lise on Twitter. Today I'm playing Marceline. In her living days, she was a musician. She really loved her cat and her friends and her bandmates. She was very passionate about music. And, is that all I need to share? Or is there more?
What were these? What do you think? What are as much as she knows about the circumstances of her death?
Okay. So after a great show, her friends were hanging out and having a few drinks, and she was also taking pain meds at the time, so she accidentally mixed things that shouldn't be mixed. She went to sleep and didn't wake up again, so it was an accident.
Was she 27 years old?
Yes.
Nice. Nice. Well, of course. How about next? Let us hear from Winnie, played by Dingo.
Hi, I'm Dingo. I'm playing Winnie Walker today. We both use she, her pronouns. And Winnie was a caretaker in life. She worked at a nonprofit teen homeless center, lending an empathetic ear and helping keep the place in order. And she came from a broken home and left before she was 18, leaving her sister, her younger sister, May, behind. And she was able to get her life together for the most part, though it's a humble life. She's pretty broke. You might say dead broke. However, she spent a lot of her time getting her sister out of trouble. And all she remembers of her death is that it had been a long day. She was leaving work at midnight after arguing with her sister on the phone, who needed more money. This is kind of a common thing. But she needed money that she owed someone that Winnie didn't have. So she was leaving. It was cold, and she was walking to the train. She got on with a few other people, got off at her normal stop, and then she got the feeling that she was being followed, though she can't remember seeing anyone around her or behind her. It was, I mean, the streets were dead quiet, which is odd for where she lived in New York. So she picked up the pace to the front door of her flat, got the key in the lock, and then can't remember a thing.
Beautiful. So next up, let's hear from Felicity, played by Headmistress Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice. I'm playing Felicity Wright, or Fliss to her friends. She is a London police officer. She was a plod. She used to just walk the streets, and she was just someone who moved papers around and was fed up with doing that, and thought by going to America and becoming an officer in New York, she would move up in the world and to bigger and better things. And as she got over there, she was patrolling some of the streets, sort of hoping for something that she could prove herself, especially in this new office she was in. And that she stepped down a slightly quieter road, more like an alley or something, and she saw a young-ish sort of teenager trying to break into a car, and feeling quite heroic for once, seizing the opportunity. She went over there to try and stop him just by showing her badge and telling him to stop. And the kid panicked and stabbed her with a screwdriver before panicking again, fleeing and leaving her to bleed out on the street, where she couldn't crawl to anyone for help. And that is where she was left.
And what about John, played by Jean-Marc Pruitt?
Well, I am Pruitt, and I will be playing a fellow named John, a bit of a criminal. He's a hitman in life. Many brushes with the criminal underworld. And in his latest, he came home to find that someone had stolen his dog. And en route to the Continental to see a contact he had there to find out who did this, he felt a pain in his chest and looked down to see his shirt wetting with red, and had just enough time to realize that someone had shot him from a sniper's position, and all went black right there outside of the hotel.
And so, changing the music, as swiftly as drifting off to a peaceful, dreamless sleep, you slip into the deep, null emptiness. And for a long time, there isn't anything. And as suddenly you are awake, gliding gently over an ocean of black waves, quietly shifting all the same, moving around one another in the peaceful, quiet water. Very slowly, you begin to pick up speed and fly higher, hundreds of feet above the endless waves. And as your vision expands to become aware of what is in all directions, you soar silently over a massive floating city built entirely of an ebon metal that is at once both midnight black and pearlescent, with the moving shapes of faces shifting in the bizarre, fearful architecture. A long, low moan emits from the dread city, slow and steady as the waves all around. You pick up speed, and folded over all that you've seen is the brightest white light you will ever see or have ever seen. Brilliant and gorgeous. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on, and you feel as though something should happen. And all there is you and this light that seems to be blasting out from your very eyeballs themselves. Marceline, your hearing kicks in, slowly, but sharp as ever. You can hear the humming drone of an air conditioner and the steady buzz of fluorescent track lighting. Your face is pressed up against a cold floor, and you're lying flat on the ground.
I just kind of like, I move and I'm like, whoa, this is not where I went to sleep last night. And I like call out my friends' names, like Steve, Anna, where are you guys? Do I see anything in here?
All you see is a brilliant white light. Seems to be coming from inside your head. Can't blink it away. Can't turn it off.
Oh man, weird. I'm curious. So I'm like, okay, let's approach the light. What happens? Can I?
So what do you do specifically?
So is it kind of like the light tunnel in front of you kind of thing, or?
No, it would be like laying in a room and you just have gone white blind, like snow blind.
Oh God, that's terrifying. I'm probably like, oh God, what's happening? I'm probably like calling up my friends, like, anyone here? Like, what is happening?
Winnie, light grips your face like a brilliant mask. You become aware that you two are lying on a cold floor, your cheek pressed flat against the cold tile. You hear the same humming and buzzing, and your spatial awareness tells you, kind of get a sense that you're in a long hallway. But you can't see anything with this terrible white light.
Yeah, I think Winnie tries to push herself up and instinctively moves her head to look around even though she can't. And she starts reaching her hands out and feeling around and going, hello?
Very nice. Roll a Winnie, make a Dex plus Strength roll.
Dex?
What is your go rolling?
I'm sorry, you cut out. What was that?
Holy crap. We're gonna roll some dice. What is your Dex plus Strength?
So my Dex is
Can you hear
2
me?
and my Strength is also 2. I can hear
Awesome.
you now.
Good. So, with 2 successes, you manage to get up and you find that your basic motor functions are pretty shot. And you find a way to stumble to your feet. And you've got your left hand on this hall that you've got. You've managed to grip something like a bar running parallel to the ground. It's giving you some stability. And you can hear someone shouting names from nearby, but you can't quite make them out. Felicity. What happened to my stuff? Here we go. Felicity, your vision slowly starts to return. You see a long aisle with rows and rows of small boxes, their muted designs and colors slowly materializing. And it seems to go on forever into a hazy grayness in both directions.
I think she instinctively has her hand on her side, even though there's nothing there anymore. And it's probably more that she jumps awake, like, and takes a second to look around and looks down at her side and sees nothing and sort of shakes it away and then stands up and looks at all of these boxes. And she like tries to find like a radio or anything, but I'm assuming there's nothing there. Is it... Hello? Hello?
What's your Dex plus Strength?
My Dex is 3 and Strength is 3.
Good. So, yeah. So you're able to find your footing. Your muscles are weak and atrophied, and your vision is clouded, but it's starting to return. And no, you do not have your sidearm on you. And as your eyes begin to focus, you see cereal boxes in all directions. They're colorful, smiling characters mocking you, their frozen expressions.
Like, she'll reach out and take one of it. Oh, I always hated these.
As you reach forward to grab one of the cereal boxes from the shelf and your fingers grasp it, I don't know if you've ever touched kinetic sand before, or like sand that was wet and then dried out and begins to crumble just as soon as some sort of energy begins to touch it. And that's exactly what happens to these cereal boxes. As soon as you touch it with your fingers, their form begins to dissolve and they turn to a clay-like with a little bit of ash that kind of sort of blooms off of them as you touch them.
And she's just like, oh. And she'll probably reach for another one, and then another, and then almost out of intrigue, just slide her hands across them as she sort of starts to walk down this corridor.
Right, and as you walk with your hand down, they all just dissolve in a lovely bloom of ashy cereal box material trails behind you as you walk down the aisle. John, you too feel your face pressed up against something cold and hard, but you know right away the familiar feeling of porcelain against your face. And oh yeah. And while you can't see, there's something oddly familiar about the circumstance you find yourself in. You're on your knees laying forward onto something like this, right at the right height for you to lay on it.
Whoa. I'm just going to try to push myself up, blinking away the bright light.
What's your dex plus strength?
It's going to be 6. Do you want me to roll that?
Yes.
Okay, target number is 6 or 7?
7.
Cool.
That's a difficulty of 7 for those of you playing along at home.
Okay, 4 successes.
Hey, so you're able to find your muscle strength, get your bearings a little bit, and your vision slowly starts to clear, and you see blue letters written on this thing you're laying on that say Universal Rundle right on the top of them. And it becomes very clear that you're hugging a toilet face and that you are in a stall in a bathroom.
Okay. I will pick myself up and glance underneath to see if anybody else is in the bathroom before I move to the door.
There's no feet on the floor as you glance under the stall. And it is deadly quiet in this bathroom.
Okay. I will reflexively reach into my jacket and find nothing there.
You are unarmed.
Wow. Still got these. But yes, okay. Then I'll move out of the stall.
Excellent. Let's return to Marceline, calling for her friends. Your vision slowly begins to return, Marceline, and you find yourself in what appears to be, the produce section of a grocery store?
Yeah.
Be the produce section if there was no produce in it and all the lights were off.
Oh, God.
But all the signage is still there. Celery's on sale. Carrots are half off. But there is no food in this space you're in.
Alright, am I able to stand up and walk around?
Let's roll for it. What is your dex plus strength?
So I have a dexterity of 3 and a strength of 2. So is that 5? Or...
Yes, it is.
Okay. And what do I roll? Is it like 20? Like
I'll roll for you.
Okay.
So you can see on the side so the difficulty of that is a 7. So every die that rolls a 7 or higher is a success, and you got 5 successes. So you are quite capable of grabbing onto something and lurching to your feet, and getting a good look around. And because you're in this produce section, you can get a pretty good sense of the environment. You are in the corner of an empty superstore of some kind, and you don't see anybody around you, and all the lights are off.
Okay, do I see any like windows or doors or anything like that? Or
yes, you're looking into the store with your back against the produce. To your left is all the checkout lanes.
Okay.
Quiet and empty. And then in front of you is really just aisles and aisles and aisles, and down the right would be the meat and the milk and all the stuff going down the right side.
Okay, I might like go to the registers, see if there's any like, I guess, personal effects, like someone leave their, favorite pencil there, or like an ID. I don't know. See if there's anything there at all.
I love that. So you make your way to the nearest cash register and punch some buttons. The little drawer shoots out, and all that's in there is a 1969 silver dollar.
Weird.
And a driver's license from one John Smithmason.
What's the year on it?
Just a random ID. 2015.
Oh, okay.
It expires in 2022.
I'll pick up the coin.
The coin hums. Not verbally. It's a real. You recognize it as a U.S. minted silver dollar.
Okay,
But you quickly, no, it doesn't vibrate. But you feel an energy come off of it, and as you hold it in your hand, you get the briefest of visions of someone else's life and someone else's coin collection, and someone who treasured envelopes full of these coins. And then you get the sense that this coin was stolen and used to buy groceries. And then all at once, this vision of the past of this coin disappears, and you're standing there in the dark with a silver dollar in your hand.
Okay.
Good times. Winnie.
Yes.
You were picking yourself up, and when you're in a long hallway, and your vision begins to return, and you see toys, cheap gimcrack toys, all nearby you, cap guns and sticky hands and silly putty and all the kind of cheapo toys you might find in a grocery store toy aisle. And you can feel your muscles start to return.
Do I still hear the shouting?
Yes. Well, no, you don't. You don't hear the shouting. You did, coming from kind of down the hall one direction, but then it stopped.
Okay.
And then you hear a cash register ding.
Okay. Winnie's gonna look at some of the toys around her and try to pick up maybe like one of the cap guns.
So most of what you touch, in fact, all of what you touch turns to ash, right? It dissolves in front of you. However, there is one cap gun still in its packaging, still with its beautiful little ring caps. And you can actually pick this up. And as soon as you do, you're hit with a instant flash of being a 6-year-old boy, psycho about getting something from the store that your mother won't let you have. And she won't pay for it. She won't buy it. She won't listen to you screaming and yelling and carrying on and making a complete fuss in the middle of the crowded grocery store. You didn't care. You wanted the cap gun, and she wouldn't buy it for you.
Yeah, when he smiles as she's holding this cap gun, and then looking around her again, it falls, and I think, still holding it, she's gonna sneak very quietly towards where she hears the ding of the register.
Cool. Felicity. Roaming the cereal aisle. You hear a cash register ding from somewhere to your left.
She'll probably sort of wheel round quite quickly at the sound, being quite jumpy, but she will head straight to this cash register, which she's sort of eyeing up, kind of confused, but she's like, okay, right. She'll sort of wander over there.
Arla, so you turn the corner, you come down the rows of rows, you start to see that you're in this pretty big grocery store. You're not in like a supermarket, but you're in kind of like you get the feeling that it's one of those kind of middleweight American Piggly Wiggly, Joe's Trading Post kind of grocery stores, and kind of place sells a lot of white bread. And you turn the corner and you see a woman standing by the cash registers.
I think she'll freeze and maybe try and reach for like her gun again, but again, it's not there. Is it? Hello?
And Marceline, you hear this, and you see a woman in uniform looking at you from a little further down the hall inside the store.
Okay, and what does she look like?
So that's a great question. And this is something that all four of you are going to have to answer. So your appearance in this situation that you find yourself in is reflective of your character's own self-image throughout their lives. Okay. So if your character, say, thought very well of themselves, it might look okay, But if you're somebody who, was kind of tough on themselves or didn't have the highest self-image, you may look like a living hell. So, Felicity, why don't you kind of describe what you think your character might look like in this circle?
Yeah, Felicity is in uniform, and it's very, very smart. It's been ironed, kept clean, like it's scrupulous, and her hair is super neat as well, all tied back so that it can be out of her face and she's ready for anything. She probably looks very, very small and like petite, like not particularly strong or anything like that. She's quite weedy looking, even though she tries to stand as straight as possible.
Marvelous. And Elise, what do you look like?
So Marceline probably has like a band shirt on. Probably has like Perfect Circle or something on it, and like black hair with maybe a few streaks of color, and like some jeans, like skate shoes or something. So like she looks a little bit messy, but not too bad. Like kind of like she rolled out of bed or something. And yeah, so she'd probably be like, do you know where we are right now? Like, I did not wake up where I went to sleep. I have no idea what's happening right now.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. Like, I was hanging out with my friends. We had this really great show, and I woke up here. There's like empty produce bins, and it was gone. And I just don't know what's happening.
Have you tried touching anything here?
Yeah, I picked up this coin, and it kind of had like a
dissolve.
No, I felt like I had a flash of like maybe someone else's memory. Like I felt like I experienced the life of this coin everywhere it's ever been. So weird.
Oh, just me and crumbling cereal boxes. Okay, fine. I don't know why I'm in a supermarket. I don't remember being in one.
I guess, should we go outside and see if we can find anyone, I guess? Maybe ask a local? I mean, you're an officer, so maybe you can find a fellow officer?
You're not stealing that, are you?
I just found it. Someone left it. You know, you find a coin on the ground and pick it up, you know.
Well, where did you find it?
There's like some registers over
So
there.
you went into a cash register and found a coin.
Oh, it's all empty over there. It was on the ground.
Do you know what? I'll let it weird anyway. I'll let it slide. Right, let's just go see if there's like a door or something. I haven't.
Okay.
Thanks for the door.
Beautiful. And with that, we cut to John in the bathroom. John in the John. What's going on in the John, John?
Well, John makes his way out of the John, and that's when we maybe see the camera kind of pan up to the. Is there a mirror on the wall?
Yes.
He sees himself, much like he was in life, very, very almost like the dark reflection of our officer that we've met. Very ordered, straight tie, straight suit, no wrinkles. He's checking all the places where he would normally keep weapons. And maybe the empty holsters, they howl with emptiness, howl with the cries of those of the lives that they had taken in life that still follow him, as he is a bit become kind of repentant in his later years. So he starts to think about that a lot more. And now with he's pretty sure that he's dead. Like, he just straight up, even in life, he looked down and saw the bullet hole as it went dark, and so he's just going to move to the door and kind of crack it open and peek out and see where he is exactly.
Very nice. So as you open the door and peek out, the bathrooms and grocery stores, usually, you walk in and kind of down the left, so if you were looking straight to the left all the time. So if you looked out the door, men's room straight out, and kind of see a customer service there on the right, that kind of window. Maybe they got one of those little banks, those little trashy.
Yeah, National Forest Bank.
National Bank of asshole, So then, on the left, you see all the cash registers and the checkout aisles and whatnot. And you see two people talking to each other about halfway down. And as your eyes begin to focus on them, all four of you hear in your head a terrible voice. I can hear you. I can feel you near me. I wish that I could tell you that it was all a dream.
Who is that? I asked Felicity. Who is that?
Hello? Where are you?
All four of you begin to feel a heartbeat. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. And you realize that it is not your heartbeat. And in this moment, the four of you realize that you have no heartbeat of your own, and you have no pulse of your own, and there is no food in your stomach, and there is no air in your lungs.
I don't feel right. I feel very strange. Yes, feel strange.
John straightens his suit and tie and looks presentable, and slowly walks out to the two people that he sees out by the registers.
Whoa. Hang on.
Officer?
Who are you? In fact, who are you? Like, she sort of suddenly realizes she hasn't asked this other person either. It's like, who are both of you? Names?
Name's John. How about yours?
Officer Wright. I mean, well, yeah, no, Officer Wright. Hi.
Hey, I'm
Bingo, Winnie, you can hear people talking to each other from around the corner of the hall that you're in.
Yeah, Winnie's gonna creep forward through the hall. And is it a hallway or is it like the aisle?
It's the aisle. Now you're kind of in the middle of the store where the aisles are cut down the middle. You can look down the right and see the checkout aisles down in the back of Felicity.
Yeah, I think Winnie's gonna creep forward down the aisle and peek around, but she's gonna try to stay hidden behind the aisle.
Marvelous. So want everyone to roll me a perception plus awareness check. So if you go into a little bit of crunchiness here, if you hit that die and roll 20 and go to the advanced roll, you're going to roll the number of D10s according to how many dots you have.
I don't see the D20.
Difficulty is 6.
It's far left on like this little bar on the Roll20.
The little legend in the top left of the screen.
Yeah.
You said difficulty 6? Because I think I
Yes.
have...
Target number is greater than 6 or greater than 6.
I got 4 successes.
Marvelous.
I got 2.
I got 2. Alice, Felicity got 2. How about you, Winnie?
I'm still not seeing that little icon you guys are talking about. It's in the top left of the character sheet?
Of Roll20.
Roll20 itself.
Green
Of
itself.
Roll20 itself.
It should be like the grid.
Yeah, there'll be like a little click
Advanced
arrow
roll.
and a paintbrush, and it'll be like toward the bottom of that list.
I have never used this feature
No,
before.
me neither.
Me neither. All right.
Uh,
So, those of you who succeed, the front of this grocery store that you find yourselves in looks a lot like the Gelsons on I believe Ventura in Los Angeles. So for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, it is just glass all over the front of this grocery store, right? Just a huge glass front. You see out into the soupy green night. The night sky is green like right before a tornado. Stale, hazy in its soupy greenness. And you see out in the parking lot a truck parallel the driver's side of the truck is facing you. The driver's side of it is the nose of the truck is facing off to the left. And past it you can see a building on the other side of this parking lot with a green awning and a lit green sign that says First Cash Pawn right on the front of it. And in the middle of this parking lot, seated on this truck, the front of the truck is being pushed so far down that the bumper is scraping the pavement. And seated on this truck is a massive shape holding with one foot resting on a massive ebon stick jutting out of the front of this truck.
What?
And you can see its hooded head turn in your direction, and in your ears, as perfectly as if it was standing right next to you, you hear, 212 years ago, I was tasked with the freeing of 100,000 infants from their birth calls. And with the 4 of you, I have reached 100,003. My labors now concluded. I can return to the Dark Kingdom of Iron, lay down my side, and take my place among the ferrymen. You all have a moment to react.
Felicity automatically, for some reason, just like puts her arm in front of everyone and and her voice breaks a little bit. She's like, "It's okay. We'll be fine. Just remain behind me." Like, really trying to look a bit more confident than she is.
John's going to try to find an optimal hiding spot.
Yeah, Winnie would jump back, hitting anything that's behind her. And I imagine it explodes into ash.
I just stand there, just like, whoa, what is that?
And the three of you kind of in the front of the store kind of hear, someone over your shoulders bump up against an aisle, and you kind of hear a rustling and a shaking, and there's somebody behind you too.
Stranger danger. What do we see?
So then after a moment, you're still looking at this figure out in the lot, and as your eyes begin to kind of focus on him, you see that he's pretty close to you. He's only 20, maybe 25 feet in front of the store, so you can get a pretty good look at him. And it's a massive hooded figure sitting on the hood of this truck. And as you look, he looks like every good Ghost of Christmas Future from the Dickens Christmas Carol. Particularly from Scrooged, just like a standing, he might be 7 or 8 feet tall. It's just a extraordinarily large hooded humanoid sitting on the hood of this truck.
Quietly
Say again?
Oh, I'm like quietly sidestepping behind a shelf. I'm like, oh.
And he speaks, and again, you can hear him just as closely as if he was standing next to you. And yet, I find myself, as you do, in a most unfortunate circumstance, gut shot at the hands of this sad little specter here. Is that not right? And you see him jerk with a stick sticking up out of the truck. And you can then see twitching, sticking out of the front of the truck, 2 legs. Someone is sitting with their back against the grill of the truck, and their little feet are sticking out in front of it. And as he rattles his stick like this, you see the feet jump and twitch right up front. And he's just...
When he charges forward out of where she's kind of hiding in one of the aisles, and she says, "Okay, that's quite enough."
Where did you come from?
Toy aisle.
Okay.
You leave that poor person alone. I think she's marching up towards the front, towards the windows.
Whoa. Like, not stopping you, but trying to stop you.
Winnie, as you get closer to the glass, you see something catch your eye that maybe the others hadn't noticed, seeing, looking so closely at this hooded figure on the hood. And sticking out of the back of the truck are there's 2 shapes in the back of the truck. They look like giant cocoons, like a caterpillar might make to turn into a butterfly, only yellow and stale and moist. And one of them is kind of sitting half in and half out of the bed of the truck. And you can see kind of the tip of another one in the truck. And then there are 2 more behind the truck. And you now can see black tire marks. This truck obviously did a tight 360 in this parking lot, and out of the truck spilled these 4 man-sized cocoons that you notice are torn open and folded out. And as your eyes focus on this, you hear this grim figure speak to you again. I am bleeding out. Not much time left. And therefore, I will give you more than I have ever given the 9,999 souls I have freed in my time as a Reaper. I will tell you 2 things, but only once will I tell you. You find yourselves this night fresh infants crawling across the Shadowlands, separated from your previous existence by the shroud, which hangs over the Skinlands like a dread blanket, separating you from that and those
which you cared so much for that you did not move on. You are dead, but not gone. Separate, but not alone.
And then you see him lean back and take a big, long, deep breath. Anybody want to do anything?
Do we still hear whatever it is from behind us?
You heard Winnie, who now has run past you and run to the windows.
Okay, never mind. I just thought, okay.
Can Winnie run out the door? Is there like automatic doors?
Sure, that's great. So there's automatic doors that are shut.
When Winnie approaches them, do they not?
Nope.
Oh, it's like Shauna did.
I think she she stands there for a moment. She sees kind of her reflection in the glass of the doors. She's got this frazzled brown hair, and she's hunched, has slouching, very poor posture, dressed like an elementary school teacher, but with the face of like someone's kind young grandma. And she whips around. She goes, "Well, are none of you going to do anything?"
Can you step away from the glass, please? Just
Sure.
back up a little bit.
Right, sure. And she takes a few steps back.
The dread figure on the hood of the truck holds out his left hand like this, and black rays of light fly from in between his fingertips. And Winnie, you feel yourself, you already felt like a reverse marionette. You already felt with no breath in your lungs or food in your stomach or pulse in your blood, pulse in your body or heart beating in your chest. It already felt like some invisible strings were just so gently holding you to the ground. And now you feel that those strings begin to loosen and your feet begin to skip just gently off the floor. And as your head begins to turn and you begin to turn ass over tea kettle, my grandfather would have said, you begin to gently float towards this figure and your body passes through the closed doors. And you've never had the sensation of moving through matter until this point. You are being lifted gently and floating towards this figure.
No. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by what I said. I'm really sorry. Can you please put me down?
The second thing I will tell you is this. Your true circumstance is not that you are lost. It is that you will be found by specters like this said creature here.
And he shakes his stick one more time and you see the legs twitch.
Stolen, trafficked back to the darkest depths of the dark kingdom of iron, where you will be smelted down, your corpus rendered into a banal object for the rest of eternity.
He leans back and takes another terrifying moaning breath as you gently hover towards him.
Oh boy.
What do I do?
Felicity will have run over to the glass. I don't know if she can go through at all, but she's trying to like just run as close as she can to this person, like citizen, protect the citizen.
That's great. So as soon as you press your hands against the glass, you tip right through it.
Yeah, she sort of stumbles for a second. She's like, stay there. I'm coming. And she's sort of trying to grab hold of Winnie.
Okay, I see this and I go like running across the store and I just like jump through feet first, hoping that I make it through and see if I can help the officer, help Winnie out. So.
You go right through it.
Okay.
And seeing all three of the recently dead alongside him go through this, John he's kind of like up at the front, like peeking over the edge of the window, and he's going to kind of just like slink sideways through the wall in more of a kind of a flanking position to the Grim Reaper character, because he assumes the cop's going out here and he's going to kind of move this way.
So do you want to go towards if you're facing outside this grocery store and the nose of the truck is facing to your left, does John come around to the left to the front of the truck or to the right to the back of the truck?
I'm thinking about coming around to the front to where that specter is to at least try to like get it away, because maybe if it can like escape and start running away, he'll go chase it. Is what I'm thinking. Like if I can, this thing that he's fixating on while he's monologuing to us, maybe if I can get that away from him, maybe give us a moment to escape or whatever.
Marvelous. So as John sidesteps around the front of the grocery store to get a better look at the nose of the truck, he sees a few things, and also anyone who sort of moving towards it does get a better look at this. This person sitting on his butt with his back against the grill of this truck, feet pointed out toward the nose of the truck. He has a scythe through his face. This scythe is about as big, probably 18 inches tall. This is a massive piece of bizarre pearlescent metal that is fully right through this guy's face, like Terminator 2. Wah! And then buried into the hood of the truck. The guy is sitting there flat. His skin is dark and ashen and like he's been very badly burned, and not in a fun way, just like very dark and crispy. And in his left hand, John, facing you, you see a silver pistol. His left hand, the specter's left hand, laying on the ground about 8 inches from his hand.
Oh my! Do I think I could get to that without being seen? I mean, make a stealth.
Not
roll?
Without being. You could make a stealth roll.
So what was that? Dex plus stealth.
Yes.
Okay. What
would be difficulty 8 because you got a big old guy just sitting right there,
Okay, so that's 5 in my pool. Difficulty 8. 2 successes.
Hey now. John begins to slowly approach the pistol, and none of you seem to notice as this hooded figure on the hood continues to speak.
I need you to help me. I need your assistance tonight, and with this task complete, we may all travel tonight to Stygia. There you will find the Harbinger's Guild, an assemblage of wraiths who can locate those closest to you and clear a path through the tempest so that you may be close to your fetters once again. How many wraiths have I doomed by withholding that information from them?
And then,
what makes us so special?
You speak to him?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
what
you
he
were
said.
sneaking up. You're like sneaking up to like get this thing, and you like look up and like talk to him, and he looks right at you. Hold on a second. He goes,
that pistol in his hand, Stygian, made from the corpus of an unfortunate wraith, not prepared with the knowledge that I have just given you.
And he lets out a deep, terrifying moan, dripping with the sort of guilt that can only come from an entity hundreds of years old from beyond the wall of sleep. He doesn't answer your question.
He answered the question he wanted to answer. He's a politician, guys.
Felicity's trying to pull Winnie down just to see why her feet they're not touching the ground. She's sort of not hugging her legs, but like really trying to keep hold of her.
Okay, I am like, well, while she's doing all that, I'm gonna try to like go around the car to the other side and like open up the door to see what I see inside.
Cool. So you're going around the back of the truck to the passenger side?
I'm gonna like open the door and like poke around a little bit, kind of lay low.
Awesome. As you come around the back of the truck, you get a really good look at these cocoons, and they've been gently sliced open on one end from top to bottom and broken in half. And, you know, they're just all crispy and crunchy like cocoons and aliens, you know, they're totally nasty. And as you come around the side of the truck, you see the passenger door is open and there is a guitar sitting upright in the passenger seat.
Swoops. Where is this guy at exactly? So is he on the other side of the car dealing with those two?
He does, and he turns over his shoulder and looks at you, and then without even moving, just straightens up and looks over at the rest of the group and seems to make direct eye contact with you, John, and goes,
"We must pay the ferryman tonight."
And then his hand stretches out in front of him, and a gnarled, knotted, bony but not bone figure points forward. And you all look to your left, or you look out toward the nose of the car for the first time. And you see a highway running perpendicular to you. So across your vision, you see lights going by, trucks. You can hear the roar of traffic. And then over that is a wall of light, bright and beautiful artificial light, lighting up the green sky and the green clouds. And you know it's a building, but there's so much light coming out of the front of it that it's hazy and brilliant in its fluorescent, cold light coming off the front of it. And colors kind of change, and it sort of seems to move and be flickering on and off certain parts of it. This terrible, brilliant light coming from the structure on the other side of the highway. And he holds his finger out to point at it. Says,
"Somewhere in that building that shines through the dark, there is concealed a deposit of Obolai, hidden from and useless to the race that dwell there. Go into that building, recover the Obolai, bring enough back so that each of us may pay the ferryman 1 obolus each."
Okay, well, if you put me down, I promise we'll do that. And Winnie looks at everybody else around her. But you have to please put me down first.
You gently rest on the ground. His grip on you gently released.
And seeing that, like, John's gonna move over to that gun and pick it up.
Totally do that.
So
it is very heavy.
Yeah. So if I understand, you're hiring us for a job.
If you like.
And the payment is we get to go to this city of iron without being destroyed.
Ordinarily, you would be dragged there screaming, led to the forges for your eternal destruction. The ferrymen are there to protect wraiths like you, to take them to Stygia gently and carefully and get them in front of people. Wraiths who can help you find what you are looking for. This is a gift I give only you, and only once.
I grab the guitar and I strap it on my back. I'm like, so, what do you guys think?
Like, Felicity sort of just realized she's still holding on to Winnie, and she's like, sorry.
That's all right.
So what do you know about this building where these Obolais, or whatever they're called, where they reside?
Many wraiths haunt that building. They cannot let go. They have no use for the Obolai lying inside, so they do not hear them. But you will know them, because you will hear them, moaning and crying. Souls smelted down and changed into currency. Bring enough back so that we might leave.
Okay, well, how are we supposed to know what it looks like?
I think he said that they'll be moaning and screaming. So.
And Winnie, you can hear in your ears, he goes, you will hear them. Low and awful, and your eardrums shake in your dead head. And it's scary.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, so we get stuff, and then we can leave, right? And she's looking round at the others, like, right.
I mean, seems like a pretty straightforward snatch and grab. Yeah.
Apart from, yeah, like she's just sort of gesturing to this. Okay. Well, then I would. I mean, sooner the better, basically.
I'm like sitting in the passenger seat. I'm like opening the glove department. Like anything in there? Trying to investigate this guy.
Marceline finds in the floorboard of the passenger seat a threadbare backpack with a 9mm relic pistol, a bottle, some sort of strange arcane dark bottle with a cork in it.
Okay.
And that's it.
I take the bag. Suddenly I have a backpack and a guitar, and I just kind of like step behind my friends, and hopefully this guy doesn't notice I looted all his stuff.
And just as there's sort of a lull, you hear him one final terrible time in your ears.
My final warning to you. Beware the hour of the wolf. The sky is dark and weird tonight, and the shroud gets perilously thin in haunts like that one. Watch yourselves.
And with that, he lays back against the hood of the car, his shoulder blades on top of the very top of the windshield. He lays his head on the top of the truck and lets out a long, lone, awful moan. It seems to fall asleep. And you notice that he's clutching his left side, and black ichor has slowly fallen over the bed of the truck and is pooling at his feet and around the legs of the specter that he has impaled on the hood of this truck.
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
That guy's gross. You guys need some gear? I found some stuff. And I hand the police officer lady the backpack. It's got a gun, some of this mystery stuff.
She sort of like starts digging in this bag and tries to find anything she can use. Thanks. Shall we? I think we should go now.
Yeah, time is of the essence.
I don't want to be near this anymore.
Winnie, are the legs still sticking out of the grill of this truck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I think Winnie's gonna she's going to like kind of poke and shove the legs a little bit. See if they move.
Okay. The guy's got a scythe right through his face, so you can see one of his eyes at a time. He's looking straight ahead. And there's like a weird ice cold singe around the corner of this scythe in his face, like it's gently burning him all around him. And you poke his legs and his legs kind of twitch, but he's just staring straight ahead. And he, other than a little bit of twitching, he doesn't do anything.
Should we let him out?
Before we go, should we help him?
I think that we should probably just leave that guy be.
Okay.
He motions towards the robed figure. He seems pretty intent on making that guy suffer, and I'm not sure we're ready to cross him just yet.
We don't want to end up like that guy. That makes sense.
I mean, he did just give us stuff, so.
Right. Okay.
And do I see like a board or anything? Like, do I see a board or a bat or anything in the area?
A board?
Yeah, like I can just like whack if a zombie gets too close. I feel
Like a melee weapon of some type?
yes.
No,
I feel
no.
unsafe.
There's a pawn shop across the way, and then this empty parking lot, and then down a highway, and this bright light. But the parking lot is empty. There aren't even leaves blowing in the wind.
Should we leave the pawn shop before we go? I feel a little unsafe here. Like, look at that scythe. It's terrifying. And I open the pawn shop door. Is there anything in there, or is it stark empty like the grocery store?
Winnie's gonna follow behind Marceline.
All right, so you're gonna go into the pawn shop?
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for like a baseball bat or something.
Okay. All right. So we'll move pretty quickly through this bit because this is pretty straightforward. Dark, mostly empty pawn shop. Pretty straightforward. It is entirely empty except for the following. Okay. There is a drum kit sitting in the corner. In a glass case by the cash register is an iPod. On one of the empty shelves is a pink KitchenAid blender. Behind the counter up on the shelf is a chainsaw in excellent condition. On another empty shelf is a teddy bear. And laying on the ground behind the cash register is a Louisville Slugger baseball bat.
Baseball bat. I grab the drumsticks and the baseball bat. I'm like, hey guys, there's a nice chainsaw in there. It's very
Yeah, I think Winnie's gonna reach up and try to pull the chainsaw down, and walk out with it.
Soon as you touch the baseball bat, Marceline, you get a flash of a young man getting it autographed by his favorite baseball player. And sure enough, there's a faded, illegible autograph on this bat. And Winnie, as soon as you pick up this chainsaw, you get a flash of a very lovely older man. He may or may not be Tom Anderson, trimming his hedges and cutting up trees in his backyard, doing whatever he was doing until he dropped dead in the middle of the afternoon, chopping up a tree with a chainsaw.
I think Felicity can't help but just go look at the iPod. This is probably something she's wanted and just not like, just sort of, she's sort of saying to herself, this isn't stealing, it's stealing, you're dead. Like, you know, it's not sort of having a look and sort of trying to see if it works.
Take it. We need background music while we kill zombies. That'd be great.
They need a soundtrack. John will just be outside covering the exit, like looking, being all tactical.
Like, she will put like a headphone in if there is like headphones. Upon seeing people are watching her, she's like, okay, and just like, well, they've seen me now, so she's just gonna take the iPod.
I'm just like, yeah, do it.
Okay, so the iPod on the back of it has a laser engraving that says "To JG Blockhead Love Gumby," and on the front of it, you have the opportunity to spend a point of pathos as you hit the power button on this iPod.
Okay.
So a point of pathos spent, you feel like you feel a sudden burst of spiritual connection with this inert object in your hand, and it blinks to life. Its LED backlit screen lighting up, and it is an iPod with every ABBA song ever recorded on it.
Like, she's really happy about that. Like, you see her sort of can't help as she walks out the pawn shop, like. She goes out.
And it sounds
Winnie on her way out, holding the chainsaw, will turn to the teddy bear and with one finger just kind of wiggle its nose, and then head out to join everyone else.
I got Dancing Queen in my head. How do I kill zombies to this?
Yeah, like she can't, like I said, she can't quite help but do a little bit of a dance on the way out, like, shimmy out the door to the others.
Watch that scene. I heard they're getting back together. So yes, the group now assembled outside this pawn shop. This the dread figure on the hood of this truck is still napping, from all you can tell. And over your right, to your right, across this busy highway, is this massive, brightly lit structure.
I mean, we're a little bit closer to it, I assume, right? Can we tell what the structure is?
Do you take some steps? Not from in front of the pawn shop. It's too bright. You'd have to walk towards it.
Well, is there a parking lot, I assume? Are there cars in the parking lot?
You see this highway? Trucks and 18-wheelers and vans are going by pretty regularly. It's a pretty busy highway. And on the other side of it, yes, there is a parking lot, and no, you cannot see any cars.
Are there any cars in the parking lot we're currently in?
No, not other than the truck.
All right.
Who's the sleeping guy? Does he do anything?
He is sitting, staring straight ahead.
Can I look at his wallet to see if he has an ID? Is he born in a time period of this era? I'm curious.
You walk back over to him, and all he has in his pockets are a handful of 6-inch nails that are pearlescent and black and emit a low moan.
Those are creepy. I have to put those back. All right, guys, I'm ready.
Well, it looks like we need to make it across this highway somehow. Does it look like this highway is kind of the same structure as the building? Like something we could maybe just like walk through?
Should we drive the
truck?
As you... Sorry.
I mean, I thought about hot wiring the truck and just driving over there.
But there's like a demon attached to it.
Hey, it'll scare off the zombies.
Just like there's a demon on the bonnet. Do you just like shoo it off, or
good ornament? Random style.
As you get a good look at the highway, the concept of the shroud begins to start to make some sense in your mind, that there is something separating you from the land of the living. These trucks and cars that are going by, they don't exist in the whatever you're standing in the environment you're standing in. This membrane between you and the living is getting thinner the closer you get to this building, and it's shifting and changing. And as you approach this highway, the cars start to take shape and materialize, but they're like paintings. They're not something that you even feel like you could reach out and touch. And you can tell that this is life. This is commerce. This is something very familiar to you, but it's separated from you by some sort of dread barrier that you're just now starting to understand. And one of the things that's emitting so much light is on the other side of the highway, and is this very tall, massive LED billboard. And at first, it's all just different blinking lights and shapes. And then something changes, and you begin to see what's actually on that billboard. And you see a beautiful woman's face, and she's holding a martini glass, and she's smiling coyly. And it says, say yes to Martini and Rossi on the rocks. Say yes, exclamation point. And then just as suddenly, those LED bulbs in this massive billboard begin to malfunction and change, and the shroud gets thick again, and it starts to be incomprehensible again. And you feel yourself at this physical spot where the land of the living and where you are begin to intersect. The highway is not so busy that you cannot try to jump across it without potentially getting hit by a car.
I say we drive the truck. Or what do you guys want to do?
We can try to drive the truck. I'm a skilled driver.
Okay, cool. All right, in the back, but
like
whatever those are. I got the back.
I mean, he gave us all the other stuff, so the use of the truck might also be implied.
Okay.
He didn't say we couldn't take the truck, so.
Touche.
And if he doesn't like it, he could just deal.
I like hop in the back with the creepy cocoon things. Should we dump the cocoon things? Like, what should we do?
I'm not sure I would want to touch those.
I was gonna say, don't
Okay.
touch yet.
Staying away from them. I have my bat ready in case one of them attacks me, like Alien.
I'm gonna try to see if there's keys in the ignition or if it's something that I could possibly hotwire.
Okay.
So it occurs to you that in order to drive this truck, you would have to ask this 9-foot hooded figure to roll off of it, and he is by now quite asleep, and his scythe is buried through the engine block.
Oh man.
And so as you sort of look at it, the keys are in it.
Mm-hmm.
He is asleep, as far as you can tell.
Well, I mean, if his scythe's buried in it, then it's almost kind of like a seatbelt, sort of. It's a safety device.
Start that engine.
You're like, hey, can we borrow your truck? Just kind of say it like really quietly.
His like head rolls over to you, and you see these like black negative holes in his face, and he goes,
Where would you take this truck?
Cross that highway there to the place that you wanted us to go. I mean, that way you'll be closer to us when we get done, right?
Watch this.
and like asking your uncle to roll off the couch in the middle of football, he moans and sits up and wrenches his scythe out from the front, turns it in his hands, puts his left hand on top of the hood, denting it, and puts his giant undead ass in the bed of it, and the whole bed of the truck goes and the bumper scratches the pavement, and the figure on the front who had a scythe through his face just falls right over, motionless and limp. And so that happens. And if you are what do you do now?
I'm gonna turn the keys and give it
So
some gas.
to hotwire this car.
Oh, I thought you said there were keys in the ignition.
Oh yeah, you don't have to hotwire it. You do have to spend a point of pathos to power this car.
Okay. I remember the first time I ever drove and how I loved it, and that feeling of the first ignition in a new land, and give a little life to this whatever vehicle it is.
I think
Is it a Chevy? Is it a Ford? Is it a Dodge Ram? The oxymoron of trucks?
Yes.
It's a Dodge Ram.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well then.
What were you going to say, Felicity?
I was gonna say, Felicity would probably like step over like the stuff that have been coming out, like this black ichor, just sort of try and get in the front with him. You can see her briefly look around to see if there's somewhere to plug in the iPod, but sort of thinks better of it.
Factory radio. All right, so John turns the key. Truck roars to life. You have this massive figure sitting in the bed of it, but there is room for all four of you to get in. Someone's going to have to ride in the back with this dread figure.
Yeah, I think Winnie volunteers, seeing as she's already been like levitated by him anyway. She climbs in the back and says, I appreciate you getting off of the truck. You didn't have to be so rude about it. And sets the chainsaw down in the bed with her.
Marvelous. John, what do you do?
Well, in a rapid series of action movie slam cuts, you see the transmission going to drive, the foot on the floor, tire spinning, and we have a little bit of a fishtail, but not too much because we're nice and weighted in the back of this truck, so it doesn't go all over the place. But I do sign my name in tire rubber as we're leaving the parking lot.
Okay.
And looking for the quickest way across the highway and into the the bright building of our goal. It's parking lot.
So again, this thing is like right over the highway, right? So you're literally going to drive this thing across a highway. Now, if you were alive and actually,
anywhere?
I mean, you could go up further and get on the exit, come back around the other way,
Okay.
and actually follow traffic laws or of the living, or you can just drive straight through to this thing. How do you actually maneuver this vehicle towards this building?
I look for a bank of grass coming up to try to get some air and cross the highway, Dukes of Hazzard style.
Okay, I need a wits plus drive roll.
Wits plus drive. Okay, that's going to be a 5. What's my target number?
6.
4 successes.
Oh my gosh. So
Looks like the dead boys are in some molasses.
body thick molasses too. So you hit the grassy knoll and you get some serious air and you come up, but it doesn't take you quite over all 4 lanes of traffic going in both directions, and you land right in between the 2 eastbound and westbound going lanes. And as you do, Winnie in the back seat, you look over your right shoulder and a minivan comes right at you. It's 2 headlights going right by both sides of your face. And for a moment, you can see everyone inside this minivan. You can see the father driving and the mother riding in the passenger seat and the 2 kids smiling in the back seat playing their video games. And it all passes right through you. You see this entire thing.
Hey, be careful up there. And she's knocking on the back of the truck.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Felicity has a look of like a mixture of, oh my gosh, this is so illegal, we shouldn't be doing this, and also she seems to be enjoying herself a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm like tapping on the front, like, this is wild.
I used to practice driving in the airport parking lot.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh. Like, she's like holding on to her chair.
All right, so as you get down over the grass embankment, you get down to the parking lot, the light now all around you, your eyes begin to adjust, and you see what this is. This building is a giant casino, and it says in beautiful big block letters, Ace, no face, casino. And there are LED monitors on both sides, and you can see steak and lobster $6.99 and loosest slots in all of Oklahoma. And as you see that, if those of you who would look back at the highway, you notice that there's a big green sign that said Indian Nation Turnpike, and then in one direction McAllister, the other direction Hugo. So you can see all those things here as the truck makes it into the parking lot in front of this casino.
Okay. This is making a little bit more sense. So I'm going to park the truck about, 3/4 of the way out in the parking lot. Wait, you said there were no other cars in the parking lot?
So there are no cars in the parking lot. And as you look, again, that shroud membrane begins to shift and change. And for just a moment, you can see that in the land of the living, this is a full parking lot. And the more time you spend in this space, the more you begin to see both things at once, both an empty parking lot here in the Shadowlands with yourself, with nothing you can touch or drive or sit in. And then at the same time, you can now begin to see beyond the shroud in your limited capacity, and you can see a full parking lot full of all kinds of automobiles, most of which with Oklahoma license plates.
That's what I had feared. We're in Oklahoma. It's a fate almost worse than death.
And do we all see this, or does only he see this?
You all see this. You all see this.
Okay. This is so
Well,
bizarre.
I'm gonna park a little bit of ways away from the building and get out.
I always thought I'd just blip out when I died. This is wild.
Well, how do y'all want to do this?
So we have to go in there and find the weird screaming soul coin thingies.
Seems pretty straightforward, which means it probably won't be. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's go in, I guess.
Yeah, I say just march right in.
I don't think we really have much to lose now, so.
Sort of looks down at her uniform and is like, oh, okay.
You're just here for an inspection, officer.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Okay, no, I can do this. I'll be a distraction if anything.
Okay.
We'll do that. And she sort of gets out the car and decides to just try and stand up a bit straighter and walk towards this casino.
And yeah, and as we're walking in, John, he's going to this pistol that he picked up that's super heavy. He's gonna like go through the motions of like checking to see if it's loaded and all that, and making sure it is ready.
So there is one round in the chamber of that pistol. And that is all. It's almost like a flintlock. There's a big fat hammer on the back of it, and it looks like a Revolutionary War style flintlock pistol, which yes, you now have in your. There you go, buddy. It's called a proper
right pistol. Sorry.
And it is again. It's both. It is at once black and pearlescent in its beautiful engraving, and it shifts, and you swear you can hear it kind of talking, but so quietly, can't quite make out what it's saying.
Okay. Start heading in.
So, we're all walking into the casino now. Is that my understanding? Yes. Marvelous. So you walk into and it's an okay casino. You know, it's not Vegas, but you know, it's pretty nice. You got the lobby. It's got some, you know, somebody's doing some landscaping. You know, it's and for the first time, you see the quick. That is the living. That is those who are not dead. That is those who you used to live among. You can see them moving through the lobby gently, like watercolor paintings. There and not there, all at the same time. One of them, Felicity, passes right through you. And then
Probably recoils a little bit at that, but it's like, oh, and we'll keep walking.
Marceline, a couple counting their chips moves right through you.
I'm just like, whoa, that's weird. Is there anything of interest in the room or anything out of the ordinary, I guess?
Why, sure. Other than just the landscaping and a few places to sit, up at the ceiling is, you know, the casinos have sort of those the navigation. You know, they're kind of telling you where to go. You know, so on the top they go to mine. To the left, there are arrows pointing to the left, and they say theater, high stakes tables, Keno, sportsbook. And to the right is the High Roller Theater, the Ace No Face Restaurant, and the restrooms. And down the middle, down some stairs, is the casino floor with round, and you can hear the of all the game, of all the slots and all the gaming happening and the activity happening on the casino floor. Kind of step down into a sunken casino area in the middle of this huge room.
Okay, I'll be like, well, it looks like all the action's down there, so maybe check in the casino first. Yeah, it looks fun. What do you guys think?
Sure.
They said we'd hear it, right?
Yeah, shouldn't we be listening for wailing and moaning, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Keeping an ear peeled.
You guys hear anything?
Why don't you all make perception plus awareness checks?
Difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6.
Uno.
4 successes.
Okay.
So 3 successes.
Everyone who gets 2 or more hears soft crying coming from just inside the lip of the casino, somewhere over the planters obstructing your vision of the sunken casino floor.
Does anyone else hear that?
Crying, sort of. You think that's the sound we're supposed to follow, you think?
It said moaning. What do you hear?
Crying. I'm gonna go look.
Some crying
yeah.
is kind of like moaning, but
Winnie's rushing over, peeking behind the plants, trying to follow the sound.
Yeah, Felicity will try and like follow, but try and not make it so obvious, and just if anyone looks at her, just like nods.
I'm just walking my baseball bat up. I'm just
Is anybody looking at us?
So you haven't seen any in the lobby area. You haven't seen any other wraiths yet. Just the living, moving back and forth.
Right.
But you hear this crying, and it is you got to step down these steps down into the casino floor. So a couple things are happening all at once. First off, for the first time, you see other wraiths. You see a handful of them following a living waitress as she walks by. And you notice, John, that they're not looking at the waitress. They're looking at what she's holding on her tray. And they're following it as if hypnotized by what is resting on her tray.
Does she have a tray of drinks? Or
Yes.
So these
Cocktails.
wraiths are just following this living person?
More specifically, they just seem to be transfixed by the drinks that she's holding on her hand, and they move from right to left slowly across this sort of front end of the casino that you're in before you start to get into the slot machines.
Interesting. John yells, "Free booze over there." And he points the opposite
Really?
way. Yeah.
The back wraith, there was a group of 3 following that waitress, and the back one totally heard you and like spins around and like looks around and then looks at you, clicks his tongue, and he goes back following the waitress, annoyed at you distracting.
Interesting. Be careful.
Winnie and everyone who got above a 2 on that. Winnie kind of steps down. You look to your right, and you see a young man in a dressed as a waiter, and he's got his head in his hands like this. He's got his face totally covering he's got his hands totally covering his face, and he's just crying, just bawling, is really pitiful, sitting on the planter, just weeping.
Winnie kind of kneels down a bit and reaches to tap him on the shoulder. Excuse me, are you all right?
He just cries. My eyes. My eyes. My eyes.
Winnie,
What's wrong with your eyes? What's wrong with your eyes? Let me see. And she's gonna take his hands and sort of pull his hands away from his face.
He allows you to do this, and you see that where his eyes should be are 2 gaping sockets with claw marks all around here, as his eyes have been apparently torn from his face.
what is it? Like, she's sort of still got her back to Winnie because she's just looking around out of instinct. What is it?
He doesn't have any eyes.
What? Like, it sort of turns around, and do I see it, or has he covered his eyes again?
Yeah, you see it. He's like, he grabs Winnie's shoulders and like looks right into your face. Like, they're playing games with my eyes. They're playing with my eyes. Playing.
Felicity takes Winnie's arm and is just making sure she's got a firm grip. And she's like, just back away a little bit.
Okay. Winnie backs away. She says, "Wait, I could maybe get them back for you? Are they...
Sir, who took your eyes? Where are they?
It's those guys, the big guys. They took them. Don't get them back. Don't get them back. Then they'll know that I can't. I'll just go outside and let them pick me up. I'll get smelted down. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I'll just let them smelt me down. I can't see. I can't think. I don't get them back. They're too strong. They're too big.
Where are they smelting people?
He's just like sobbing.
Okay, I pull out my guitar and play something really calming and soothing while they work their talking magic.
Ooh, okay, roll. You get to roll for this because you're 2 points in. Let's see here. You get to roll your charisma plus your keening arcanoi, which is 2 points. And I can hear you with my magic headphones. I'm going to run and have a bio break while you roll it.
Oh, what did you say the difficulty was?
6.
Yeah.
You got at least one success.
I'll use one of my little dice thingies I got so I can succeed.
I was going to say, I think you have 2 nat 20s and an advantage.
Okay, I may also use Mahjong Shill. I'll be back.
So far, we have one creepy eyeless man. Yay!
Love this poor eyeless dude.
Yeah, I feel pretty bad about it. But whilst these guys are on a bio, I'm just going to say, so Pro, you've got 2 nat 20s, you've got a nat 1, an advantage, and a disadvantage. The Indian Lease, you've got 2, she's not there, but 2 nat 20s and advantage. Dingo, you've got 2 nat 20s, advantage, disadvantage, and a nat 1. I've got nat 20, advantage, nat 1. And Travis, if you roll, you've got an advantage, nat 20, disadvantage. And you nat 1.
Beautiful. So just as Marceline, tell me a little bit about what you play for this. What do you do for this young man?
So I probably play something really mellow, like Perfect Circle has like a nice rolling tune that's like do 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 do. Just something really mellow and calm, and just I think like emotionally I let the music kind of flow through me and try to exude a very like positive, calming, loving feeling, hoping that I can soothe him, make him feel better.
That's marvelous. So with the keening's pretty fun because this means that everyone within earshot of Marceline, if any of you have passions that are like positive, that are like love or happiness or joy, you recover a point of pathos. If you have,
the when I was alive, the song that she's playing was one of mine and my wife's favorites before she passed. Yeah, so.
And it really has this very strong emotional effect on those of you with you're really caught up, even if in life you weren't the kind of person, especially like John, probably not the kind of person to get emotional, to get caught up in music. This has a particularly dramatic and particularly fast effect on you emotionally. And the guy stops crying and like grabs Winnie and just like just bear hugs her and presses his face to your shoulder.
See, that's better, isn't it? That's nice. And she's gonna hug him back.
And then he leans right into your ear and goes, there shooting craps with my eyes.
Well, that's not very nice of them, now is it?
No.
Why don't you wait right here? And we'll go get your eyes back for you. And she pulls away and she holds him by the shoulders and says, okay, can you do that for me? Wait right here.
He's like got like this 1,000-yard stare. He's just like this something has happened with this music, and he's just sort of, almost in a trance. He's like,
Okay, we'll be right back. And when she turns around, she kind of gives Felicity this like look, and I'm gonna walk over towards the craps tables.
marvelous. What are the rest of you doing?
Felicity will follow. Not letting her wander off on her own.
Following, getting worried, and keeping my ears peeled for the sounds of moaning coins. And my eyes peeled for people rolling snake eyes.
Yeah, I put my guitar back in my bag. I got my baseball bat ready. Just in case.
Beautiful. So you see the living, moving like watercolor shapes back and forth, playing, shouting at each other. Little old ladies trying to win a jackpot slots. Old, retirees who should know better, playing 21. So there's lots of standard casino activity, and all during the midst of this, there's about 25 or 30 wraiths, and all they do is watch people drink and gamble. They're transfixed by it. They're stuck watching the drinks order by. You see a living person walk up to the bar and hold up 2 fingers, and you see 3 or 4 wraiths nearby go bump each other. They all start to move towards this person who just ordered a fresh round for his table. They're stuck watching the booze and the gambling move back and forth. And it starts to make sense to you a little bit what it means to haunt something, what is holding these people in this room. You can feel it. It's almost something you can reach out and touch, their connection to the booze and to the games. And as you're watching this and you're watching the alcohol move back and forth and people losing and screaming and yelling and the wraiths just eerily, quietly watching it, you hear shouting, just screaming over your left shoulder, "Snake eyes!" Bang! Lots of screaming and high-fiving and yelling. But it's pretty far away. It's craps tables are kind of deeper into the casino to the left.
Winnie's marching right over there.
Yeah. Felicity will grab her arms and just go, in fact, all of us tried not to stare too long at any of this stuff. I don't want to get stuck.
And I noticed they're distracted by booze, so do you think there's a way we can, get booze and the people somewhere to distract all the race while you guys get that guy's eyes back? Something gets sticky? No. I pick up a couple of pitchers of booze, and I start kind of like they're going this way. I'm kind of following a couple of feet to the side to see if I can distract some people out of the way.
So let's be clear. You attempt to pick up a couple of pitchers of booze that are on the opposite side of the shroud.
Hands go through
Your
it.
hands pass right through them.
Oh.
However, you are reminded that in the backpack that I think is still slung over your shoulder.
Backpack. I have something in here.
What do you do with that?
What is it?
It is an ornate bottle with some sort of liquid in it.
I open it and take a sniff.
I would be careful with
Nice
that.
one.
You open it.
Yes.
Every wraith in the room looks at you.
Hey guys! So I start walking a totally different direction so they can work their magic.
That's kind of what I meant not to do, but okay.
I'm distracted.
Then we just have to work fast. This is fine. This is fine.
Walk that way. Walk. She's pointing.
Yeah, I go the direction she points. Yeah, and I'm just like, hey guys.
Okay,
So all right, so let's get a little more specific. So you guys were you had gotten pretty close to the craps tables by that point, yes?
Yeah.
This was after you sort of went over there. Okay. So let's set the scene just a little bit. So with their backs to you, there are 3 wraiths playing craps. They look, you can see the sides of one and the sides of the 2 on the profiles of the 2 on the sides and the backside of one in the middle. They all look like Ed Big Daddy Roth characters. They are easily 7 feet tall, with the exception of the one on the left, who is over 9 feet tall. His neck unnaturally extended by about 18 inches. All of them have apparently shaped their flesh into extreme designs. The one in the middle, sort of stocky, wide, barrel-chested, spikes coming off his shoulders and forward. He's got an unnaturally long crest on the back of his head that seems to come up. His knees bend backwards like a dinosaur, just these reverse chicken knees. On the right is a smaller one who's got these long spikes coming off of his hands. You don't know how he touches anything because he's just got these ridiculous, ostentatious spikes on his hands. The one on the left, like I said, unnaturally tall, like you took somebody and stretched him vertically. And they're hunched over this craps table until you open that bottle, at which point the 3 of them and every wraith in the casino turns to look at you. And all the wraiths in the casino that aren't these 3 guys slowly start walking towards you.
Fine with that. Is there a stage somewhere? I'll walk to the stage if there is one. Or something I could stand on, like a poker table or something.
You can stand on a poker table. You stand on, there's tables everywhere, so you can stand on.
Okay, so I will start luring them elsewhere. I'll just start walking around in circles around the room until something happens to like distract them. It's gonna be Ender. Keep an eye on my friends.
So you said the 3 wraiths that were at the craps table.
Yes.
Are they watching Marceline, or they're not following?
They are now.
Right?
They are. They're they're just watching right now and just like trying to look. It just all happens real fast, and they've turned from their game that they were totally into, screaming and yelling. Yeah. And they've turned around to kind of get a sense of what's going on.
When he's gonna walk closer, are the eyes on the table, or are they holding them?
So the table has that kind of raised lip, because it's a craps table. It's kind of sunken down. Are you tall enough to see over that lip from sort of how tall is Winnie?
We're gonna go with 5'4". Not very tall.
As she gets maybe a little too close to comfort to these 3 wraiths who are entirely distracted by this bottle over here. And she can see at the very end of that craps table 2 eyeballs with the pupils facing straight up.
I think she's gonna get a little closer to them, noticing that they're watching this bottle. And she's gonna say, "Gosh, a drink sounds really good right now."
And they're all like transfixed by this bottle. And the one in the middle goes, "Yeah." And then he slaps the tall one, slaps him. The tall one goes, "Huh?" And they all gently start to move toward Marceline.
Yeah, go get it. I bet it's gonna taste amazing. And when he's gonna move around the table, pick up the eyes.
Cool. You have the eyes. Felicity, what are you doing?
Felicity is standing in not awe, but like a mixture of sort of horror as she's watching these things, like, because she's she's shorter than Winnie, so I'm guessing these things tower over her quite a lot. And she's keeping an eye on Winnie, but also trying to keep an eye on everyone else as well as to where they are. And she's sort of like resting her hand on the gun that's sort of like at her side, but not wanting to make it like obvious that she's going to grab it if anything goes wrong.
Excellent. Okay. Before we catch up with Marceline in her current predicament, I would like everyone to make me a difficulty 9 perception plus awareness check.
I'm going to use my advantage on this roll.
Don't know how I managed that.
Oh wow! I got one success.
Got one.
And I got one success.
I got 3.
I think
Ooh,
I got
nice.
4, I think, yeah.
So everyone who got one or more successes, as the wraiths in the room become entirely distracted by what is in Marceline's hand, and an odd quiet begins to fall over the room. Whereas these 3 wraiths who were in front of you were so loud, and it's not like the wraiths who were watching the booze were so loud to begin with, but there's a hush and a stillness all of a sudden. And in that moment, those of you who rolled 1 or more can hear an odd. It's like a room full of. It's like a small group of people talking to each other. Like in a big room, and you can hear kind of, and you can feel it coming from the right sort of quadrant of the casino. But no more specific than that, and only because of this stillness caused by these wraiths being so completely distracted.
I'm going to try to get the attention of Felicity, of Officer Wright, because he figures she's probably the most, like, I don't know, aware, and kind of motion that direction and kind of point to the ear.
She sort of nods and tries to slowly walk in that direction, but again, not make it super obvious. She's just going to move.
And same with John. He's gonna kind of mirror the officer. So there's some distance, but we're kind of triangulating.
Excellent, Marceline. What are you doing?
So what is their response to me? Just kind of wandering around the room with this thing. And
Did you jump up on a table?
Oh, I think I did at some point. How are they responding? They just fall?
They are entirely transfixed by what is in your hand.
I sniffed the bottle.
You sniff the bottle. Ooh, man, you ever it smells like burnt engine oil. Smells like it'd take up paint, take up wallpaper. It is fetid and foul and awful, and just smells awful.
Put the lid back on it to see how they respond.
All the wraiths are speaking lowly, offering you. They're like, please, just one drink, please, just one drink. I'll give you anything. I'll give you my hand or my face or my nose or I. And they're all like trying to think of anything. They're like, I think I have a penny or a. And they're all like they're pulling their shoelaces off of their shoes, and they're all slowly as you. I like this idea, and you tell me if there's you're kind of up on a table, maybe skipping from table to table, as they
sure, why not?
They slowly converge on you, but heads taller than sticking out from the crowd are these 3 ruffians from the craps table who are not so spaced out and not so lost, and are kind of pushing wraiths to the side and moving with more purpose straight towards you.
Just keep my eye on them. And I see if any of my friends catch my eye, because I'm like, something weird's going on here.
Yes. So you're trying to catch the eye of John and Felicity. Before we get to that, let's run over to Winnie, who is now holding 2 wraith eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with them?
I think I'm looking back for the wraith without the eyes. I think she's walking back to where he was previously. Still sitting there?
Still sitting there.
Wonderful. She puts both eyes in one hand and sort of taps him on the shoulder again and says, "Excuse me. Oh, I don't think I got your name. I don't know if you have a name. But I got them back. Here, feel." And she puts them in his hand.
He like shoves them back in his face and rolls them around, and then his eyelids fit back over his eyes, and you see them roll, do a double turnbuckle in his head, and it starts to look forward, and he looks right at your face, and then just like this beautiful, magical, childlike wonder falls all over the expression on his face, and he just grabs your face by your cheeks like this. He's like, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad it's much better for you. And she kind of pulls away a little bit, but that's a lot nicer, isn't it?
Oh, I can't believe it. They can't find out. How did you get them? They can't find out. They'll take them again. I saw too much. Don't you understand? I saw too much. They told me I saw too much.
What did you? What? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Just take a deep.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Why not? Why can't you tell me? I'm very good at keeping secrets. Maybe I could help you.
I saw the boss in the men's room eating the waitstaff the same way he ate me. I saw it. I saw what he does.
And he just starts to start crying all over again.
Oh, that sounds really awful. I'm so sorry about that. He eats them. Like he eats the people, or he eats you guys?
And he turns and shows you. You were looking at him from the left, and he turns and shows you the right side of his neck. And there's 2 giant holes in the side of his neck, permanent and 2 large, right at his jugular, right here. So you see, I saw it. They saw me see him. I saw it. They saw me, and then I saw it.
Right, you saw it. They saw you see him. You saw it. Then why don't you leave?
And it had never occurred to him before. He gets up and starts to, walk into the casino. He's like, I guess I could just go back to waiting tables. I guess I don't know.
Yes, just go right back to it.
Okay. And he steps down. He starts to walk and step down back into the casino area, walking towards the bar.
Yeah, I think Winnie dusts her hands off on her legs and kind of looks very proud of herself and walks over to Felicity. Let's one good deed done for today. However, concerning someone is eating people in the men's room.
Actually, first of all, Felicity's like, hang on, just trying to be like, I'm stealthing. And then she's like, wait, eating people?
Eating people in the men's room.
In the men's room. She sort of tries to cast a glance over towards John, just to try and make it look as worried as possible,
And he'll kind of move over nonchalantly to see what Winnie and Felicity are all about.
Yeah, there's someone eating someone in the men's room, right? That's what you said.
Who?
Who's he?
Whoever the boss is.
The boss.
That poor fellow with the no eyes. Apparently, he saw the boss eating.
I mean, we're in a casino.
Then it would make sense.
He's eating people.
I'm trying to focus on the task at hand. Because I figure somebody needs to.
Yeah, but
we can't just let him keep eating people. You saw what it did to that poor fellow.
Well, I mean, dude, and he points to the big 3 guys. Well, they did it. Do they work for the boss?
Oh, I didn't ask. That's probably something I should have asked.
Well, I haven't heard anything that sounds like the thing we're supposed to be finding, even though I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to sound like.
Well, I thought I heard it from over there, and he
A
points the
little
direction.
bit.
I mean, maybe what we heard was the boss eating people.
Why don't we just go check the men's room? I'll go check the men's room. And she marches off to find the men's room.
Cool.
John follows her.
Felicity will sort of check back and look at like poor Marlene, who's been just swarmed at this point, like just checking in, like, you okay? Like,
And do I see any shot glasses on any of these tables?
Shot glasses. So let's show you that you're kind of moving around the perimeter of the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big round bar in the middle. And you've been in this zone long enough to know the difference between a shot glass that is in the Skinlands that you can't touch and relic drinking glasses that are actually sitting there. Now, these would have been glasses that were broken or destroyed. And so they're kind of sitting upside down on the bar, stacked carefully by bored wraiths.
Okay, so I'm going to like jump a couple tables ahead of the mob. I'm gonna flip open over one of those cups and like open it and just put like a pea-sized amount in there, just a tiny bit. Shut the lid. And I'm gonna like be like, "Hey guys, look at this. Do you want to come and get it?" Set it down on the table. And then, like, as they go toward it, I'm going to, like, bolt out the other direction and get out of there.
What, you poured one shot and you left it for them?
Like, maybe just, like, not even a whole shot. Just, like, maybe, like, a quarter of a cup, maybe. Just stick it in there as a little...
When you pour it, there is a collective gasp in the room, right? Like an execution, right? It is they never thought they'd see anything like this again, and they all are entirely transfixed. You pour it, and then what do you do with the shot after you pour it?
I like set it down on the table. I shut the thing back up, but I like make sure to distract them. Like, look, shot glass, and then I run out of there. The mob.
They mob that shot glass like Dawn of the Dead. Crawling on top of each other.
And I like run out of the door and like peek back to see what happens. Like, does it do anything to them or?
All of 25 or 30 wraiths in the room are dogpiling each other over this one shot glass. Our three friends, meanwhile, are looking at you and coming and following you.
No. I hurry up. Okay, this might be a terrible idea, but I like put my finger in the lid of it and put some in my mouth. What does that do to me? What
you drink some?
I don't really drink it. I just like put my finger in the bottle to get like a little hint and like stick it in my mouth just to like what is this?
It tastes like the worst whiskey you have ever had, and heals a point of willpower and a point of pathos.
Woot. All right, I slap the thing back on. I don't know. Is there a way to like dodge around and lose these guys? I don't know. That's what I try to do. I try to drop these guys. I'll get rid of them.
Sure. Roll. Let's see. Roll wits plus stealth.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, that's okay. That's 4.
Difficulty 7. Since there are 3 of them.
Crud. 1. I'll use my dice. I'll use my 20 that I got.
Okay. And 1 success counts as a success, by the way. So which means you did it. It means you barely did it.
Okay.
But you did it. So hold on to that 20 because you got a success. So yeah, in the confusion and in the craziness and in the maze of the tables, you lose the 3 strangers.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I try to see if I can find my friends stealthily.
You can see Winnie over your left shoulder making a beeline for the men's room, which is behind you as you were backing up away from the thrall of the dog pile of wraiths now down in the pit of the casino.
I just follow her in. I have no idea what's happening. I'm just like, I'm with Winnie. Let's do this.
Beautiful. John, what are you doing?
I was following Winnie, and if she was just marching right into the men's room.
You all converge right in front of the bathrooms, and Winnie is in front of you. What do you do?
What do I hear anything outside the door?
No.
Then I open the door.
Excellent. Inside the men's room, it's a perfectly normal men's room. There is a man in a gray suit. Looks kind of like Tom Wolfe, only a gray suit. Blonde, handsome, and living, but does not look like a watercolor painting as all the other, members of the Quick have looked so far in this casino. He stands out. He's not as crystal clear as the race that you've met. There's something different about him that you can see him more clearly, and the shroud seems to affect him differently. He is very much standing there, and the stall in the back of the room is open. I need you to roll me a perception plus awareness check, difficulty 7.
All right.
And he is washing his hands. While she's rolling, what do our other heroes do?
I think Felicity has drawn the gun now. She's still keeping it at her side, but she's got her back to the bathroom because she's watching these other 3 that have been following them.
I'm just thinking to myself, wow, that guy's really hygienic for a possibly dead guy.
What'd you roll? Oh, go ahead, John.
Creeping dread is starting to sink into John as he's looking over the shoulder of Winnie and this guy, and then remembering the guy who, well, never mind. That's metagaming. I wasn't over there.
How dare you?
Don't feel dread.
Cool.
I got 2 successes.
Marvelous. You see a pair of feet sticking out into the shadows of the men's room stall in the back of the room. They are a pair of high heels and torn stockings sticking out from they're seated. There's these 2 feet sticking out where you can see them into the doorway of the back stall.
So it's like someone's sitting on the ground in the stall and their feet are sticking out?
Yes.
Reminds me of the feet under the house in Mr. Oz.
And he washes his hands. He gets a little bit of soap, and he washes his hands, and he kind of checks his teeth in the mirror. And his teeth have long canines like this.
Oh, God.
And he makes sure they're nice and clean. And he turns around, and he looks right at you. And Winnie, you swear to God he's making eye contact with you. He's drying his hands.
Oh, super long line in the women's room. I'm just gonna use one of these stalls. Don't mind me. And she's walking into one of the stalls and closing the door behind her.
You walk past him or through him?
I don't.
Because he's between you and there.
Then I guess I walk through him.
You walk right through him, and he doesn't really move. He doesn't twitch or anything. He crumples a piece of paper, and he shoots a 3-pointer into the basket, and he goes, "God, I'm sick of this shit." And he walks right through the rest of you out the door of the men's room.
I think Winnie's gonna turn back around. Do you think he saw us?
I don't know. He looks like Eric Northman. Maybe we should follow him and find out.
I swear he looked right at me. I'm when he's gonna peek into the stall with the legs sticking out.
I don't know. Should we see what's going on with the legs? What should we do, guys?
I'm peeking. I'm looking.
Is there a broom in here? Like, poke it open with a broom, just in case. Or here, use.
I think
Here,
you
I'll
could
use the
probably
bat.
probably stick your head through the door.
Mm. Oh yeah, you tried it. That's a good point. Yeah, you try to open.
Just goes right there. Okay, yeah. Then she would stick her head through the.
I stick my head through the door and say, "Here's Johnny."
Keep forgetting I'm dead.
So we see a very pretty waitress sitting on the floor. Her her blazer is kind of half on, half off. She's got 2 bloody holes in her neck, and she's groggy. She's waking up. She's half asleep, but
John's gonna reach out and try to give her a little pat on the face. Whether or not he knows he can do this, I'm going to try to use my.
Yeah, you feel as if you could touch her if you want. You feel that inside you. You feel, because it's something you're passionate about. You can try it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to do the little Wraith grasp where I can just kind of touch things. So that's a point of pathos, strength plus outrage. So that'd be 6. And then
Successes?
No. 6 in my dice pool.
Got it. Yes. Okay. Roll that shit.
What's my target number? Is
6.
this regular? Yeah, I got 5 successes. So.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she's it's as real as if you were standing right there, and you think for a second you can feel the warmth of her cheek, which is the first real, other than the cold, stale toilet face you woke up on, the first bit of temperature you feel like you've felt. Certainly human temperature, and you kind of slap her up, and she.
It's time to get up. It's time to get up.
And she looks right through you and touches her cheek and sits up and kind of adjusts her blazer and kind of puts herself back together. What the hell? And then behind you, Felicity. Is everybody in the bathroom?
Felicity's sort of just outside the bathroom. She was sort of trusting them to go in, and she makes sure these weird 3 don't follow them in the bathroom.
You see this guy in the white suit come out of the bathroom and go through you and take about 3 or 4 steps and then stop and turn to look right at you. And he sort of looks at you head to toe and squints and then turns around and starts walking back towards the back of the casino.
She would have probably just gone, "What?"
And then he stops again and turns to look at you and he goes, What?
What? She's like, "Why are you looking at me like that? You can see me?"
I see a lot of shit. What are you doing in my casino?
Just that she sort of, and then suddenly remembers Jonna is like, "Surprise inspection." Just suddenly tries to straighten up a little bit, yeah. Surprise inspection.
He walks right up to you. Go ahead. Say what?
An inspection. You have me an inspection. She's looking in every direction, almost trying to not look at him.
He walks right up to you, right nose to nose, right in your personal space. The 2 of you close enough You know, you could feel his breath if you were on the same side of life and living as he is. And he looks you right in the eyes and he goes, "That's the funniest thing I've heard all day.
And she said, I'm glad.
You ghosts need to find something else to do besides follow me around."
I wasn't following, I was waiting outside the bathroom. Who are you? No offense.
I'm the fucking motherfucking boss, and you're distracting me and my customers. What are you doing here?
And like she just sort of has this really awkward smile, like she can't help but smile. She's absolutely terrified, but it's definitely a smile. She's like, I told you I'm inspecting the casino.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Tell all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of being haunted. And all of these people following me around, they need to find something else to do.
They're not my friends. I don't really have control. Okay. You look kind of mad.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Here's the point. Get them to lay off, okay?
She just nods. Like,
I'll tell you what. Is there something I can help you with? Is there something I can do for you?
and she just sort of blurts out words. She doesn't think that. I'm looking for something that screams. Makes a weird noise. Not really. She's not really processing the information very well. 1 second, and she'll literally just lean in and push the bathroom door open. And what were we looking for again?
Moaning
coins.
Moaning coins. Obelai, I think he called them.
Obelai, moaning coins. If you've got any of that, be great. Like, we could take that and we'll be right on our way. We'll leave, like, right now.
He pops his neck.
It's a nice suit you've got.
He checks his watch and he kind of adjusts a very nice Rolex on his wrist. And he looks left and he looks right. He goes, I tell you where we keep the money. But you got to come with me and you got to convince your friends who won't leave me alone to leave me the fuck alone. And then I'll tell you where the money is.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that, right? Like, she's just still like leaving the door open.
When he's walking through the bathroom wall, if she can, to come out.
We can get rid of them. Mm-hmm.
So glad to hear it. And he turns on his heels and walks away.
Okay.
What are we getting rid of?
I'm gonna follow him. Like, and she's just gonna like go. We need to get rid of these guys. And she's like gesturing to, I'm guessing, the pile of wraiths. It's like over
all the wraiths.
Yeah, like she's sort of.
He's walking towards the high rollers tables.
Start following him, but mention to our friend with the bottle. You still have that bottle, right?
Yep, I grab a shot glass and pour like just a little bit.
Whoa! No.
Can I smell it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Someone take it
back on the bottle.
That's what we should use to try to lure them out.
Okay.
What if they just come right back in?
Well,
how do we keep them out?
He only asked us to get rid of them once.
Well, I suppose that's fair.
I mean, like, just walk out the door and lob it. Like, just throw the bottle.
I mean, if it breaks, they'll be out there for a while licking it off the pavement. So.
Yeah. As long as it's enough time for us to get what we need and get out.
And as you guys are sort of discussing this, he's about 15, 20 feet walking away. He's walking away from you.
She's hurrying after him.
Cool. So you catch up with him, and he steps up into sort of an overhang, and these are the high stakes tables. All the tables are surrounded by red velvet ropes. Almost all of them are empty. You know, there's not a lot of big money moving around right now, but there is one table in the back, big fat dealer looking at his watch, waiting for something. And there's two big good old boy humans. They're big 10-gallon great cookie thief cowboy hats sitting there, and an empty chair with an empty glass and an empty plate. And this boss, he sits down and takes his seat. And behind him, good 3 or 4 or 5 feet away, are a small group of wraiths staring that son of a bitch, burning holes through that guy with their eyes, just glaring at him. And they're like walking up to him and just saying awful shit in his ear, and calling him a scumbag, looking at his cards, and looking at the cards of the good old boys across from him, and waving their hand, trying to fuck with the deck. And they just can't stand that they can't pick up the cards. I could just grab the deck. And there's 5 of them. There's 3 women and 2 men. All of them have holes in their necks, and they're just psyched. They're just completely wound up. The angst in this room from these 5 wraiths is palpable. Not happy.
So these coins, like she's just sort of quite shuffling towards him a little bit. Oh, where were they?
Get your friends to piss off, and I'll tell you where the money is, he says quietly under his breath, not making eye contact with you.
Right. She will probably actually duck under the velvet rope and go over to these guys and just be like, just really quick question. What's your problem with this guy?
What's our problem with this guy?
Yeah.
They like look at each other, go, you're new. He kills the waitstaff.
Well,
Here's a big
no,
secret.
I get it, so I'm guessing you're the waitstaff.
Uh-huh. And now we're not. Now we just hang out and watch this guy gamble.
Y'all want to go have a drink out in the parking lot?
And they all chuckle under their breath. That's funny.
Right. Okay. I should just sort of walk back.
When he leans over to John, you seem to be able to touch that woman in the stall, right?
Yes, I still have a lot holding me back. It appears so. I still can touch the real world a bit.
I'm just curious if there's a way to bring our vampirish friend fully into this realm, and then maybe these wraiths can exact their revenge. And then maybe they know where the money is.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know of any. I don't know of anything that I can do to bring him over here, short of, well, killing him, if that's possible. He kind of looks over. Kind of looks over at Marceline and is like, I mean, you can see what happens if you doused him with that booze.
I'll do it.
But he did say that he would show us where the coins are.
Oh, what do you guys think?
Be very clear what you're going to be doing right now. I can tell you that John doesn't feel like he has the ability to bring someone across the shroud. That to your ears, after what you've been through, that sounds like more than you'll be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could probably punch him, but I think it would probably piss him off.
Are there like security cameras in this place at all?
Yes.
Can I use one of my nat 20s and use my, hang on, I can't remember what it's called now. Is it inhabit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can I, not too sure how it works, but can I look into security cameras and see? If
Bet your ass. Roll, what was it, Pruitt? What was the attribute?
Wits?
Awareness. It's wits, right? Let's do wits plus your what arcanus is that? It's that lets you see through technology. Meanwhile, Marceline, are you still holding this bottle?
My backpacks. I don't want that kind of like mob attention.
So it's in your backpack?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. All right.
Yeah.
And Winnie, the boss, looks at the dealer and taps the table, and the dealer throws all three players 3 cards, and he checks his hand, and then looks up and makes complete eye contact with you, Winnie, and taps his deck against the table.
Can I tap near one of the other guys that he's playing with? Like, I can do like a thing where I can like tap out things.
Yes.
So if it looks like one of them doesn't want to tap, like get more cards, I'm gonna tap for them to give them another card.
That's great. So that's the turn, right? They get their 3, and then they get they're playing or they can ask for a.
What are they playing?
They're playing Texas Hold'em. Let's say they're playing Texas Hold'em.
Oh, okay.
Do you ask for more cards? You do, right?
I mean, well, you just get more cards in Texas.
Maybe playing blackjack.
If they're playing blackjack, then they maybe would want to hold instead of getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, then let's do that. So they're playing blackjack, and they ask the good old boy on the left with the white hat. There's one with a white hat and one with a brown hat, and the one with the white hat holds up his hand. He's gonna stay.
Well, I'll tap like right in front of him, like when he's doing that.
And the dealer shoots him a card, and the guy in the white hat, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I got 2 successes on the roll, just so you know.
Totally tapped him.
So that means I actually it works for 2 rounds.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well,
first the guy's like yelling at the dealer.
What was I rolling wits with? What? Sorry, for the
Your particular arcanus that does this.
Okay.
Your power. So
I
that's
see what you mean. Okay, hang on. So I want.
Hold on, I need to go to Roll20 and look at your sheet here. Felicity.
Yes. Hang on. It's just one. It's just one extra.
1.
Okay.
All right. Roll wits +1. Difficulty 6.
Okay. Why is this not coming up?
Yeah, but the white hat is totally like way too angry at the dealer. Irrationally good old boy yelling at the dealer.
I can't seem to roll. My dice thing stopped working for some reason. I don't know why.
Hold on, I will roll it for you.
Yeah.
What's your total?
It should be 5.
5d10 against 6. Do it? Okay. So you see your consciousness broadens, and you see static. snow and hazy, but you feel your consciousness expand to see to feel the whole building. And you can try that again in a round.
Okay.
I just had
Yes, Marceline.
Is that guy who can see us in earshot?
Yes.
Okay, the police lady, I'm like, hey, I got something to tell you. And I like pull her back and I whisper to her, I'm like, okay, I have this thing where if I pick up stuff people have, I get glimpses into things. Do you think maybe as an office we can touch things to figure out what we're looking for is maybe?
Got a
Who are
question
you
for
talking to?
Felicity.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Say that again
pull
then.
you off. I pull you off to the side just a little bit to like whisper that to you. I was just curious. I'm like, sometimes when we touch things, we get glimpses of other like people's past. Do you think if we went into his office,
We do?
and like touched? Well, I do. Like I pick up things like baseball bat, and I see who owned it and when they got it signed. So I'm wondering if I go touch stuff in his office, I'll get clues. I don't know. It's just a plan if we can't think of anything right now.
That might be a good idea. I mean, all I got was ABBA, but I mean, may as well try. Like you sort of see her sort of shake off as she's sort of seeing this static that like she sort of shakes it off. Like yeah. It's worth a try.
Oh, and I guess like we wave the group over and I kind of tell them what I told her, like in a very quiet, because I don't want that other guy to hear, see what they think.
Okay. A couple things are happening at once. First off, you've noticed that two of the wraiths kind of hanging out in this room have moved around to Marceline's side, sort of on her profile, and are looking real closely at that backpack. Second of all, Felicity, you feel the pull of all these eyes in the sky. You feel that there's more to do with them. You've just taken your first step into this innate ability that you have.
Okay. I think she'll probably just try again. She'll try focus.
Do you think there's a camera in his office that you could look
That's
through?
what I'm thinking, if there's a camera in his office or just anything in general.
I mean, they'd probably want a camera in the room with the money, too.
That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
Right, so... And it was better than 6, sorry.
Spend a point of pathos and roll it again.
Okay. 3. 3 successes.
Beautiful. Marvelous. With 3 successes, you guys see Felicity's eyes go wide and white. Like Game of Thrones shit, you know, she gets a freaking, you know. So while Felicity is now somewhere else, these wraiths, Marceline, like walk right up into your personal space. And they're like, hi. What's in the backpack?
You know, boring things. Nothing good. And I sort of like back away from these guys.
And they kind of like look at each other. Meanwhile, Felicity, your consciousness explodes. You're now looking through over 100 eyes all over this place. Some fish-eyed, some flat, some up, some down. You can see people playing blackjack. You can see cards and chips and dice and waitstaff. You see in the kitchen where one of the chefs is got something going on, flambe, and he's got the flames. It's like Benihana in the kitchen. Big flames coming up, and you can see as your thoughts continue to move through this building, you see a camera in the security room pointing at a bunch of monitors. There's a door in the back, and you see the counting room. And you see the counting room, all these things on the walls. You can see the camera in the hallway with stairs leading up to it. And as you move from eyeball to eyeball, you can sense that The counting room is above the restaurant, behind the security booth, and you now know where the stairs are that lead up there.
As soon as she sort of snaps back, she'll probably take a second and then walk straight to John and grab his arm and be like, I know where the counting room is. I know where the coins are. I think.
All right, we need to head that way fast, but we have a bit of an issue. And John walks up to the two guys that are harassing Merceline and gentlemen, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, please. And as they look over, he's just kind of like has his pistol just kind of tapping, almost like a baton.
Yeah, well, they were looking like they were about to knock your teeth out until they saw the pistol, and then they get a good look at that, and they look at each other, and then look at their three friends, and they all leave the room.
Nice.
Probably a good idea.
Beautiful, and the boss at the table notices and nods warmly at Winnie.
So all the people left him alone are leaving him alone now?
Yeah, they've all left the room muttering to each other at sight of that pistol.
You're into the bargain, sir.
He kind of looks around and puts his hand down and holds one finger up to the dealer and then walks across the room with his back to everybody and then kind of looks over one shoulder. You walk up with him?
Yeah, we walk up with him, but with my second round on my little tap, I'll just tap twice as he's walking off. Even though
on the table?
Finger, yeah.
The dealer hits. He's going to hate that. He turns around and he goes, if you're looking for money, the counting room is above the restaurant, behind the security room. But a fat fucking load of good, a bunch of cash is going to do for a ghost. I do hear moaning coming from there from time to time, but I hear that a lot. So good luck.
Is there anything special we should know about this counting room?
No.
Where else do you hear moaning?
I used to hear it from those assholes who followed me around, but they've apparently left the room. I think I don't hear that anymore. But sometimes when I go up into the booth, I hear moaning. What do you want me to tell you? I've never seen any moaning money. That doesn't make any sense.
That's fine.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my game.
Have fun.
All right. Have fun.
What a jerk.
Make a beeline for the stairs leading up.
Yeah.
All right. So is everybody heading in that direction?
Yep.
You see all the wraiths down in the casino. They've just like totally, they're like, some of them are fighting, some of them are crying. They've just like, you really poked the hornet's nest, and they're all super distracted with their own like obviously brutal emotional attachment to booze, and they're just like all in a big hornet swarm right in the middle of the casino, and don't even notice as you guys cross, because the High Rollers casino is kind of on one side of it, and you kind of cross around the floor to get to the restaurant, and you make it to the stairs. So the restaurant has this beautiful front on it, and then you kind of go around the side, and that is where the restrooms were that you were earlier. And then next to that are stairs through a door going up to a second floor above the restaurant.
As if she knows the way already, Felicity is just going for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Felicity goes in first. She runs up, and there's a closed lock keypad door right there, top of the stairs.
Slight problem. As she sort of looks back to the others, I wonder if...
What's that?
Hang on. And she sort of like, she tries to do that thing again that she did with the cameras. She's just reaching out to see if she can see what has been. So what is it? Is it like a button system?
As you move your hand forward, your hand passes through the door, and it
I'm dead.
occurs to you that
I
you just
stroll
walk
it.
right through.
Yeah,
You walk right through it.
Yeah, Felicity is not used to being dead yet.
I mean, yeah, you look at a door with a keypad,
like she walks through.
For traps.
as it should be. So you walk in and you're in a dark room. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of monitors all over one side of the wall, and there's a sleeping security guard in a cheap chair with his feet up on the desk, snoozing. And you're behind him, and over his right shoulder is another keypad door.
She's going to try walk through the next one as well.
And you walk right through it. And you go into the counting room that you saw on the counters. And there's two big tables, and there's an old man there living, kind of thumbing through dollar bills and putting them in neat stacks. And there's big cabinets and all this stuff. And it's all in the realm of the living. Except against one wall, clear as crystal, is a relic safe, black, sitting quietly, real as anything, just over in the corner.
She'll look to the others and then sort of just go and stick her head through it and have a look. Which I know she's going to regret, but like this is Felicity thinking, not Alice.
You stick your head through the door or through the safe?
Through the safe.
So the safe is existing in the Shadowlands. This is a safe that is as tangible as that 9mm pistol in your holster. You cannot breach this safe with your wraithly form.
Okay, guys, now what?
Does it have a computerized button thing? I have some skills in technology and computers.
Yeah, what kind of safe is it? Is it old
Safe
school?
is an old school combination lock safe. But the safe is not in great shape. This safe probably, it looks like something you might see in the Great Train Robbery. This is an old safe.
Is there any bolts, hinges, anything I can take off, I guess?
There's hinges on the door. The door opens out and there's metal bolts holding the door on.
The bolts look like something I can pull out, or are they pretty solid?
Just with your fingers? No, they're really in there. You would have to breach it with something.
Okay.
You could try to shoot it.
Crowbar in the room. Oh man.
Don't we have a chainsaw? Chainsaw?
We do have a chainsaw.
We do have a chainsaw. Chainsaw versus safe.
So what do you do? What do you do to this safe?
This is a safe that we can interact with, right? We can touch it,
Yes.
move it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoever put it here might be listening, though.
And when you say listening, all four of you can hear a low moan coming from this safe.
Is it like a...
Can I try to touch the safe? Because I have the life web ability, and it's you can see the strands between people and their fetters.
Yeah.
And this safe might be someone's who works here's fetter. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
But at least try to figure something out about that.
Roll it.
because I think I can do that with like, what is it? Echoes in the web. Energy traces.
Love that.
Senses uncover. Yeah, uncover between relationships between the Wraith and their fetter and everything. So maybe try to figure out at least perception plus that, which for me would be 5. Maybe try to figure out at least a piece of the combination.
Roll it.
4 successes.
Oh yeah. So you get a vision of an older gentleman who counted money in this casino every day. And he went back and forth and turned the tumblers and set this combination over and over and over and over until he learned it as well as he knew anything. And in your mind, you absolutely see the combination of this lock. Beautiful, clear as crystal. 18 left, 24 right, 32 left.
And so John's just kind of like has his hand on the safe and his eyes are a little closed, and he just like reaches down without looking and turns the combination. And it clicks and swings open.
As soon as that happens, you hear like 50 people talking. I was saying to not necessarily communicating with each other, just voices, like you walked into a room full of people coming out of this safe. And in the safe is this sad old leather satchel with like an old doctor's bag that opens, across the top like that. And kind of with these clasps at the top holding it shut.
I'll reach in and try to take that bag and pull it out.
It is so heavy that you feel as though you would need help pulling the whole bag out of there.
The whole bag, huh? Wait, what did the guy say to us? He just said we needed how many? Just enough for each of us?
We don't know what
to
the
pay
total.
the ferryman.
Yeah, help me. Somebody help me pull this out. Come on, officer. You got a strong back, right?
You see him struggling and go over and just start really trying to pull as well.
You got a low center of gravity. And we'll pull this bag out and at least try to pull it out and look in it, see what's in here, how many's in here.
Okay, so you pull it out and it immediately, like, unless you guys like roll strength, it just hits the floor. Whack! And
that's fine.
You open it, and opening it, just this cacophony of voices comes out, and inside are about 3 dozen black pearlescent metal coins about the size of coffee saucers, like you would set a teacup on, big and round and about an inch thick, fat, big, and they seem to shift in their pearlescent metallic color, and they seem to have faces. And the first one, if you pick one up, do you pick one up?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick one up and see.
John picks one up. It's heavy. It easily weighs 6 or 8 pounds in your hand, and you hear a voice from the coin say, "I'm late for my ice dancing lesson."
Well, that sucks. It's unfortunate. I'm late to save a dog.
That's right.
Well, honestly, I think we should probably just take one each and one for the guy.
We do too, because they always put 2 coins on people's eyes and they passed over for the ferryman. What do you guys think?
It can't hurt to take an extra, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hand
So
them
we
over.
need 10 coins.
I guess.
And you said how many is in the bag?
Easily 3 dozen.
Okay. Take out all but 10 and see how heavy the bag is. Can one person carry that?
Can one person could carry 10 coins?
Yeah. Be
About
about 60 pounds, you said?
About 60 pounds, yeah, and you could, one person would struggle to carry all of that.
Well, maybe
I'll
if
just put 2 in my backpack for me.
You could all carry 2 on your person
Okay.
in your pockets without any difficulty.
Okay.
I mean, your
I'll
pants
I'll
kind of
tell you what, I'll carry 4. If y'all want to carry 2 each, and then I'll carry 4 in the bag.
Okay. Hang on
Can
the bag.
do.
Okay,
Careful, that bottle's in there.
can we go now? Like, just
And the instant you say, "Can we go now?" the fire alarm goes off. Bam, 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 bam. It's weird. It's not a ring. It's that where the in the sprinklers go off overhead in the Skinlands. You don't get wet, but you can see it happening across the shroud. The water falling from the ceiling, those strobe lights in the walls begin to flicker, and a terrible, awful fire alarm begins to sound.
You think we can go through the floors to remember the layout from the cameras, Felicity?
I think I could.
Okay. I guess go to the truck.
If I can go down rather than through, like if I can go down through the floorboards.
Yeah, 'cause some people saw us come in. So
You guys are going to go straight down through the floorboards?
Yeah,
The
dive.
coins
Right.
allow us.
we're wraiths. We can do that.
Yeah, and you are. Yeah. And if you think it, you can. And
Swan
you,
diving down.
the 4 of you concentrate for a second, and you begin to sink, and your legs go through the floorboards, but the coins in your pockets won't,
Oh man.
and they sit on the floor, and you're stuck. The coins won't travel through the floor with you.
Going back up.
All right.
Through the door is like it's just
With
Taking
the
a
fire
long
alarm
one.
going off, though, did the people in this room open the door to leave?
Yeah, the guy who was counting money is freaking out and running, waking up the security guard.
Oh,
up.
we need,
We gotta go.
We need to make haste then, and before these doors shut again.
Make a run for it.
Yep. Booking it.
Felicity,
yeah, just
Felicity,
sprint.
in your mind as you hit the door to go down the stairs, who's in front? Felicity, she was first in. Who's
think
in
I'm-
front?
Felicity knows the way better than anybody. I would be near the front.
I was gonna say through the cameras, she's probably just remapping everything and sprinting out the way they came.
You can see a camera in your head just for a moment, and as you guys go through the security room too, anybody who would glance over their right shoulder and look at the cameras sees the chef, immolated, engulfed in flame, go running into the lobby and then just eat shit, just face plant, right? Skid on the floor as his body just burns from head to toe. And you see the camera pointed at the front of the restaurant, and the restaurant has a terrible fire coming from the middle of it. And you can see the smoke starting to come up under the signage. And you hit the stairs, and you all go down the stairs. And before you go into the casino proper, is there anything anybody would like to do? The kitchen, this restaurant is now on your left, and the entrance is down in front of you and to the left. So you've got a ways to go to get out of here.
Can we see out kind of into the we can see out into the lobby, right? Or into the
A bit, yes.
Do we see the big vampire dude anywhere?
No.
Okay. You're like, you might want to get that bottle ready. Just in case.
As you say that, you hear a terrifying roar come from the kitchen. A baleful, horrifying scream. Something like you've never heard before. It's like someone's just grabbing some monster's throat and pulling a scream out of its gut. It seems to shake the walls. It's so loud. And it's coming from your left in the kitchen.
Break for the truck.
We need to go.
It's just Felicity will just sprint after trying to shake away this image of this chef on fire.
Yeah.
Winnie's too curious. She's darting off to the left.
Oh God.
Winnie, no!
Winnie.
So Winnie could just take a step through the wall to her left and be right in the restaurant.
Oh,
Then that's what she's doing.
Marvelous. So the three of you the three of you who aren't Winnie, kind of run out into this area, and just to make sure we understand the geography of it, you're in front of the bathrooms, which are to the sort of away from on the other side of the entrance on the kitchen, right? So you're kind of on the far spot of this restaurant. And the entrance is down the way. And so you guys have a ways to run. Winnie steps into the restaurant. She's in the the dining area, and just like 20 feet to your left in the kitchen in the back, there's this terrible fire. And in the middle of the fire is black tendrils coming up out of the floor, gliding gently. And from it come two massive arms that come out and grip the sides of the cooking surfaces and the ovens on either side. And up from out of it comes a long-necked, it's got nasty, violent hair sticking out of its head. And it just roars terribly. And a third arm comes up holding a black sack. And the fist hits the ground in front of it, and it begins to pull itself up out of this hole in the ground right in the middle of this inferno in the kitchen.
It's holding a sack, you said?
Its third arm coming out of its chest is holding a black sack. It's coming up out of the ground, halfway out.
Yeah, I think this scares Winnie too much. She kind of she gasps and darts back through the wall and runs to meet up with the rest of her friends, going go 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 go.
Nice. Can I get a dexterity plus athletics check from everybody who is moving to get the hell out of here?
I think that's all of us.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's 5 for me. Is that a target number 6?
6, yes.
I have 6, and it looks like the dice only go to 5. So I just do like a 5 and a 1.
Yeah, yes.
Ooh, 3.
Oh, there's a...
Well, there you go. Marceline got 1, 2. So good. So nobody trips and falls and busts their ass on their way to avoid this thing. So you guys all do 1 turn worth of running, which takes you to just shy of the lobby area that you were at the very beginning, right? Where you saw the kid crying, right? You're about a turn, maybe a turn and a half away from the front doors. Over your shoulders comes this beast, screaming bloody murder. Its head is turning, its arms turning over tables in the Skinlands. You can see that it is breaching the shroud in its fury. It is a table comes flying through the glass of the front of the kitchen and then slides across the lobby. And it puts both of its arms on either side of the kitchen and goes, the restaurant. And one Wraith running to clear one place to the other gets right within grabbing distance, and one unnaturally long arm reaches out and grabs this poor bastard and shoves it right down in the bottom of his sack. And then it looks right at Winnie.
Oh, no.
It's coming right at you. And it's Jurassic Park. This thing is thundering right for you. It's easily 10 feet tall. It's got 2 long, massive arms and this long neck and this black bag. It's going right at you.
Faster. We must go faster.
Are there like are there like power lines outside of the casino?
Yes.
How How big is this thing you said?
It's easily the size of a giraffe with long arms.
That is terrifying.
Does Winnie think if she runs underneath the power lines, she could get it tangled up in the power lines?
Power lines are out by the curb. So you'd
I'd
have
to
quite a
run
ways
pretty
to
far.
Close on
Yes.
it.
Then there's no
you-
point, yeah.
It might have a hard time, in its sheer size, it's going to have a hard time making it through the front doors.
Ooh, can we
Oh, okay,
fly as
yeah.
ghosts? We can lure it to the power lines.
Like Felicity just running like to the car, to the car, to the car, to the like just speeding towards this car.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a thing where I can move unnaturally fast. So I'm gonna try to like out to the car and like maybe even get it and head back to pick everyone up if possible.
Cool. Okay. I
Basically,
think, yeah.
I can add my outrage to my athletics for dice pools for calculating my speed, and also add it to my outrage to my dexterity. So yeah, is that a thing that I can do to help?
That's the thing that you can do. I want you to roll for that, and in the meantime, I want the other three of you, as you hit the lobby, and just in the panic and the slick surface of the polished lobby floor,
Oh.
I want you to make a dexterity plus holy shit check. Wait, no, what is it? What are we doing here? Give me just a straight up. Oh, is it athletics? Yeah, it's dex plus athletics. To make it to the door before this thing catches up with you, because it's got a big long stride.
Target 6.
Target 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
right, there we go.
So Marceline made it. Felicity made it. Did Winnie make it with 1 success? So you guys, Pruitt, go ahead. What did John do?
No, I got 5 successes on my.
So you're the Flash. You go whah, flying out through the doors that you pass gently through, and you get out into the parking lot. And when you get to the truck, you see that hooded figure outstanding, facing you, scythe in hand, looking at you. And he raises his other hand and points his finger at you and goes, "Shooter." Meanwhile, the other three of you, do the Scooby-Doo run. And Winnie narrowly avoids the collapse of this thing's icy black hand as it barely grabs her collar. And you guys make it out through the lobby and through the front doors, where you see the same thing. John is already up there to the truck. I was going to say this truck is, 25, you parked like kind of in the middle of the parking lot, right? It's not like up against the front. Anyway, you see this hooded figure standing with its weapon pointing past you back at this horror pursuing you. That in a round will erupt through the front of this thing, of the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep running to the car. I think Felicity sort of like skids to a slight halt when she sees it still not used to it, but like, nope, keep running, and keeps getting to the car.
Yeah, I think Winnie's doing the same thing.
Nice.
And when it looks like they're safely past, like John's sitting there pointing his gun, and he's gonna like fire at the thing as soon as it's like poking its head out.
Beautiful. So you guys, you're running. You make it right up to the truck, and behind you, this thing's horrifying head smashes the glass of the sliding doors, and its arms grip the outside of the building, and it shoves its long neck out into the parking lot and just screams terrible, bloody murder at all of you. And I need all of you to make a willpower check. This is just horrifying.
So we just roll whatever our willpower is?
What is,
Yes.
let's say, what is
Difficulty 6. Whatever your current willpower score is.
I got
John is good.
Oh, where do we find willpower?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, it finally happened.
yeah. What about Marceline?
Oh, I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. on my
it's
screen.
down the bottom, sort of underneath. Go underneath advantages.
Started at 5, and if I remember, Marceline drank a little bit of it, which means you got a +1. So roll. I'm gonna roll it for you. Here's 6.
6. Sorry, guys.
Difficulty. Oh, you're good. You're good.
I'm new to the game.
I figured this out exactly 3.5 hours ago. So you're doing fine. Yes, and you roll 3 successes. Winnie freezes in catatonic fear, right in the parking lot.
I grab Winnie
Yes.
and run for it.
All right, before you even okay, so that's your action. Let's all declare actions now. By the
Okay,
way,
sorry.
this thing's head is sticking through the front of this, screaming at you. All right, John will go last. Winnie, you're frozen. You've never been so scared in your life or unlife thus far. Felicity, what are you doing?
I think if Felicity sees Marceline's like stop and try and grab Winnie, she'll go like scream back like, "What are you doing?" and pulling out her own gun and just trying to fire at this thing to give them a bit of time.
Marceline is grabbing Winnie. Try to rescue her from the jaws of this thing. What's John W. doing in this particular moment?
I'm about to go Pulp Fiction on this thing. I'm all like, there we go. Got the suit and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, you look great. You look great. I need a screen grab of that. Oh, I'm so glad this is how it's gonna. This is our big. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, so
Yeah, I'm gonna fire my gun.
And the Reaper standing there with its crooked finger pointing right at this monstrosity, and he goes, "Shoot her, and let us be done with it."
So roll it's dexterity plus firearms for both Felicity and John.
I got 3 successes.
Beautiful. What about Felicity? 2. Beautiful. So Felicity, let's say, do you fire once or more than once?
I think she would keep firing until it stopped moving if she could. She's just going on like a screaming, like, is this coming towards her?
Police instincts. Yeah.
Well, I'd be disappointed if you didn't unload your clip into this son of a bitch.
She's just going.
So Felicity is just firing and firing, and just to make the distinction here, the 9mm handgun in Felicity's hand is, she's clipping this thing, and it's taking bits of protoplasm and icy bone right out of this thing's face, and then when John raises that Stygian pistol and fires, it sinks deep into its chest. This thing chokes on it and buckles under the weight of its own feet as it loses its strength, and inches from its claw, inches from Winnie, it falls down in the dirt, making right eye contact with Winnie, and its gaze does not break for a second, and then it lets out a long, low and goes limp, staring at you.
Stranger danger.
And like, Felicity's like,
Let's
now
get-
move. Like, and just runs back to the car.
Yeah, Winnie's frozen for a second before she finally like shakes herself out of it, kicks its claw a little bit, and then runs, turns to the truck.
Marvelous. You guys turn to the truck, and your hooded friend looks at you and goes,
"You have recovered the obole."
Yeah. Yes.
Huh? Like, lifting one up.
Did we need one per person? Or 2? How many did we need per person?
The ferryman only needs 1.
Okay, sorry guys.
He holds out his hand.
We're rich.
So I'll take one out of the bag and hand it to him.
And he grips it in his hand and he closes as much as you can see of his eyes, which let out a black light. That his lid's shut for a second, and he lets out a long, low moan. And he goes, "Excellent." Then he takes a step up, straightens his shoulders, twirls his sai, stamps it on the ground, lifts it up, and cuts a thin tear in reality right in between you, paper thin, cutting the shroud beautifully with the tip of his Stygian scythe. And as reality opens up, the weight of the curtain sagging gently, all 4 of you see through this tear in the shroud, and you see a beautiful black beach with water still as glass. And in the water, nestled gently up against the beach, is a small wooden rowboat and a man in a hood, a long oar, standing silently. And the man in the hooded robe, this thing in the hooded robe, grabs both sides, opens them up, and steps through this opening onto the beach.
I think Winnie, is looking at the others and then sort of tries to grab both sides and skip through herself.
Winnie gently steps through, and as soon as your feet step down, you feel the sand gently accommodate your weight and your foot, and you're in this perfect, beautiful black beach.
I just jumped through.
Wow.
Yeah,
Marceline jumps through.
Come on, guys.
Felicity lets out this really big sigh, like, okay, it just tries to steps through.
And kind of covering the rear, just like looking around, making sure nothing's following them. John will step through. Gun in one hand, bag with 3 coins in the other.
Awesome. Beautiful. You guys step through, and the ferryman in the boat turns and holds gently out his hand. And the first person to step into the boat is your hooded friend. The boat buckles with his weight as he steps into the boat, and he lays his coin down, turns, and sits with his scythe rested up against his shoulder. And Winnie's next.
Yeah, Winnie's running down the beach and places the coin in the hooded figure's hand and jumps in beside our hooded friend and sits down.
Marvelous. The ferryman takes your coin and nods slowly, puts it into the fold of his robe, and then holds out his hand again as Marceline approaches the boat.
Hand him the coin. I'm like, so, how long have you been doing this? That's what I asked.
And he just like regards you, takes the coin, puts it in the folds of his robe, and holds his hand back out one more time.
Just hop in the boat.
Felicity is next.
I think Felicity approaches the boat, but can't help but just look back at where they came from and just drops the gun on the beach, hands over the coin, and gets in the boat.
The gun goes, sits gently in the black sand, and you step into this rickety old wooden boat and pay the ferryman, and he takes your coin and puts it into the folds of his robe. John is last.
Well, I guess this dinner reservation is for me. And he flips the coin to the ferryman. And he's going
to tough to do.
It's tough to do.
With a 6-pound coin.
Flips the 6-pound coin into the hand there, and motions to like he's tying his shoe, but he's going to take the 9mm that the cop dropped and slipped it into his bag, and then step into the boat.
Beautiful. The ferryman takes his oar, sets it down into the sand, and pushes off into the water. For a long time, you guys just drift out gently without him even rowing, as a current seems to take you off into the endless black waves. The sky is beautiful and still, black as midnight with a sea full of stars. And it feels like 45 minutes or an hour pass. And then you start to hear a roar of water, roar of a rush. You realize almost at once and right when it's too late that you're perilously close to a waterfall going off the side. And this boat is just gently going towards it. And your hooded friend doesn't seem fazed by it. And the ferryman is rowing right towards it. And you go right up to this waterfall, and the boat tips over, and you feel that lurch in your unliving stomach, like being stuck at the very top of the first fall of a roller coaster. And rather than falling off of anything, the boat grips the bottom of the waterfall and goes under and through the water, which is now coming from below you. And now you come under the upside of the bottom of that black expanse of ocean. You're upside down. You're looking at another length of ocean. And behind you, you can see the water going up into the heavens. And as you look across the black waves on this new upside down phase of existence, you see floating silently in the gentle water, the gates of Stygia, nestled in that dread kingdom of iron with its icy black spires made from so many lost souls, moaning softly in the twilight, welcoming you home.
That was awesome.
Wow.
That was so good, Travis.
Dude, we did it.
You did it. Oh, that was so good.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for playing. And I have not been in the chat because I couldn't possibly do. But thank you all who are watching right now for watching. I've been wanting to play that for 20 years, since I was about 19 and read this book on vacation, and it blew my mind. And I can't think of 4 people I would rather play it with. And this was wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for running it. This was awesome.
No, thank you. This was awesome. Right. What we'll do is we will go around each of the players, including you, Travis, and just mention what your favorite part was and where we can find you. Promote. So, in fact, let's start with Travis. Thank you, awesome DM. That was so good. So good. And the voices are creepy, by the way, but in a good way.
I get to do my Bela Lugosi. Eddie, I'm so broke. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Can you please say Race of Atomic Superman?
The race of atomic supermen that will conquer the world.
No, I love that character. I love Reapers. Just all the dynamics of this game, the coins that moan, the fact that you have a birth call that has to be removed, just the Wraith is great because you can take what you want, and all the storyteller systems, I think the classic ones, Vampire and Werewolf, you can pick and choose. They give you so much to work with, and you can create something that explores a horror theme or a supernatural theme that really has parameters and rules, and those rules become the real fun of it. I loved everything with Winnie. I love that we have that vulnerable, childlike character. I love playing with my dear brother Jonathan Pruitt, who of course is not really playing John Wick. I wouldn't know because I haven't seen the movie. And a dog, and I wanted
John Wick references.
I think that was my favorite part, was getting to play the Reaper and all of that. I've been waiting to do that for a month now, and playing with you guys. So I am the producer of WebDM. We've got a killer show coming out on Monday, so don't miss it. Thank you to the Scraticus Academy for letting me do this. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. Now we're going to hop round and go to, who is that? Dingo, you're next.
Hey,
For you.
that was so much fun, and your description of everything in the world was just mind-blowing and immersive, and all of your voices were it was so good. And one of my favorite parts was Felicity going, I'm doing an inspection. I thought that was amazing. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me play, and thank you for running this, Travis. This was awesome. This was so much fun. You can find me on Twitter at Where's My Dingus. You can find me
Best Twitter handle. Best Twitter handle, period.
I'm glad you find it so good. The rest of the week, you can find me back on my home channel, twitch.tv/off_the-table, where I'm playing D&D. I'm playing Burning Wheel. We've got a Monster Hearts 2 actual play podcast. We've got all kinds of things. That's all I can think of right now. Check out my Twitter. You'll see everything. And thanks you guys again. This is awesome.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
Hyped on Wraith. Awesome. Yes, and her D&D Elise.
Oh, hey guys. So I'm Elise. You'll see me as D&D Elise on Twitter. I've been super busy writing for the DMs Guild lately. We just released, I wrote with a bunch of other writers, Undermountain, The Lost Chambers, and I'll put links in the chat. And we have Halister's Horde coming out soon. So they're supposed to go with like Waterdeep and Undermountain themed dungeons, if you're interested in that. Some more projects on the way. I'm also building a new stream, so I think I'm going to go for the Red Knight Tavern as the name. So I'll be back doing interviews again, maybe a little D&D and some one-shots here and there. But yeah, thank you for having me. I think my favorite part was like the end was just really epic. We got like 2 people, guns blazing. I'm like, get out of the way, and I could just see it all. And the end with the description of the Reaper in the water, and it was really cool. Like really, I could really see it. So really cool. Thanks for having me. So
awesome, thank you. And last but not least, Pruitt.
This was Travis was my first DM. And so it was nice to return to his twisted little mind, and because this is a man that knows how to describe things, knows how to immerse you in a world, and that was evident from the very first time I played with him. We played Vampire of the Dark Ages, and so it's been great to just kind of stroll down his twisted little lanes of his head, and. So anyway, I'm one half of technically 1/3 of WebDM, one half of the on-screen presence. We have our games on Tuesday, Thursday, shows on Monday and Wednesday on YouTube, and tomorrow marks the triumphant return of RPGN. So there is that. So stay tuned to Twitter for announcements, things like that, and we'll have that funness tomorrow. So if you had something you liked and you wanted to clip, send it over and maybe we can have it on the next show. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we did anything too dirty tonight, but we kept it pretty PG-13 with heavy R for the
jokes come tomorrow.
Yeah, the dick jokes will be tomorrow. Hold on, and we'll get to them. They're never mind.
Save it for the show.
Save it for the show. So anyway, thank you very much. Had a great time, and my favorite moment was probably the end, the epic. Just the idea of this giant 3-armed giraffe-limbed thing clawing its way out of a building and guns I mean, just come on. After all that creepiness, finally being able to do something about it. That release of tension. That's what you want.
I love you, man.
Awesome, thank you. So we are going to go and raid Little Cup of Joe. So we do need a war cry for that, whether players or chat. Let's think of something for that. Before I wrap up, I'm Alice. I'm White Rabbit Pick on Twitter. I am headmistress for this academy, and I DM on this channel 3 times a week and play even more. So many games. This was such an awesome game. Travis, you are so badass at just describing scenes getting like the whole atmosphere going, and I absolutely love it. So when can we do it again? But yeah, this was awesome, and it was so nice to try a new system as well. But yeah, basically all of it was my favorite, and just the badassness at the end, as I think people have already said. But yes, I'm going to run through a few more bits before we head off. But definitely join our Discord. It's full of wonderful people like these people in game here. We talk TTRPGs, D&D, and all things roleplay. So it's just a great bunch of people. If you want to get into one of our games, maybe be a part of the Academy, drop Scrat a DM on Twitter. And we will get you in the diary and get you in a game ASAP. We are fully booked up until season 2. We're doing stuff over Christmas, and we are introducing the Cypher system to our viewer shows as well. If you missed this or want to catch up on any of the other stuff that came on the Academy today, this all will be going up on YouTube. You can also catch our regular shows on there as well. Like my cat shredding something, I'm sorry. Also, we are now full-time, and that's thanks to you guys. So if you want to support us, you can via Patreon, or you can via our merch, which is used Redbubble. And there's some really awesome stuff on there for that as well. We also have some really awesome sponsors in the form of Bird in the Storm, which is Tool School and Bird vs. Plane that do some awesome writing, awesome modules. And we're working on some stuff for in-between shows in season 2 and 3. So we've got some exciting stuff planned there. And also Mage Hand Press, which is Dark Matter. The alpha was released on Thursday, so definitely go check that out because it's really, really awesome. And you can also see it in play on Argo 37 on Thursdays, which is the viewer game I run. So apart from that, we're going to go and raid Little Cup of Joe. Tell where you came from, send all the hype. It looks like we're going for damn fine coffee, which I'm liking very, very much. So go over there and spam damn fine coffee to Jess and send her all the love. And yeah, we'll see you back very, very soon, back on Monday. We're going to take a break tomorrow, but we'll be back very soon. So keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you all later. Bye.